hustle का lowest point in your journey क्या रहा है अभी तक?
At an age of around 36 with 54 in my account, no savings, all the emergency funds invested. The last emergency was gold. That is also gone and under a mortgage, though that came out later on. That broke me.
Was there any competition?
No, we don't ever see. We personally don't see as any competition to be beaten.
And what does BLYP stand for?
It's not BLYP. On radar screen, that thing is called BLYP.
Right? How it started?
And when I got it back, it was actually towed. It was not stolen. It was a BMW X1. मेरे पैरों के नीचे से ज़मीन खिसक गई थी.
Hi Dhananjaya, welcome to HOH. We would like to start with the introduction on BLYP, right? How it started, how's the execution started, and how are you doing right now?
First of all, I am doing better, way better. I would say that we are doing good as a company. BLYP started as Parkmate back in October 2021. I'm an ex-armed forces officer from technical background. I've been majorly responsible for tech integration from different countries and Indian tech also into some of the most sophisticated platforms. 10 years, I'm an operations guy technically. As part of being armed forces, so operations was my daily cup of tea. But beyond that, majorly I was also involved in technical integration. And I was majorly responsible for making technologies talk to each other, different technologies talk to each other. So something happened with me back in 2018. I come from a town called Moradabad. I bought a new car and I was posted in Krishnapatnam, which is on the borders of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. And I really wanted my mom to take a ride in the car. So all the way from Andhra Pradesh, I drove down to Delhi. My mom was here only. We had a family function here. So I drove down here, parked my car in a local Delhi market. When I came back, my car was missing from parking.
Oh my God.
And when I got it back, it was actually towed. It was not stolen. When I got it back, it was damaged. It was a BMW X1. मेरे पैरों के नीचे से ज़मीन खिसक गई थी. ये क्या हो सकता है? And the parking guys did not take any responsibility and they posed a beautiful quote. साहब पढ़ो पर्ची पे क्या लिखा है? On that slip it was written, parking is at owner's risk.
Oh my God.
So they did not take it. In fact, they all ganged up on us. That time हमें मतलब वो तो होता कि वो गुंडागर्दी पे उतर रहे थे सारे पार्किंग वाले. तो that time my ego got a little hurt. I would not lie. And the UP guy among me, ऐसे कैसे कर सकता है मेरे साथ? तो I and Abhimanyu, my co-founder, he was working with Steel Authority that time. He was handling operations for them for entire Punjab areas. So we decided to write a technical paper on the problem. क्योंकि ये सिर्फ हमारी प्रॉब्लम हमारे साथ हुआ ऐसा तो नहीं था. वहाँ हज़ारों गाड़ियाँ खड़ी थी, हमसे भी बड़ी गाड़ियाँ खड़ी थी. That's where we thought कि ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता कि मेरे साथ हो. This can happen with anyone. These guys must be doing with a lot of people because parking is a big problem in Delhi. When you are riding in a sarkari gaadi, it's not that big a problem because you are not driving. But when you are in a personal car in a town like Mumbai, in a city like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, any town, even tier 3 towns or tier 2 towns, parking is a massive problem. So we decided to write a research paper and a white paper on this problem. And the more we dwelled into our research, the kind of data that we started noticing was mind-boggling. I mean, हमें पता चला दिल्ली में 1 करोड़ से ज़्यादा गाड़ी पार्क होती है. अगर आप उसको ट्रांसैक्शन में लेके जाएं तो 40 करोड़ का ट्रांसैक्शन पर डे बैठता है सिर्फ दिल्ली में, नॉट एनसीआर में. 93% से ज़्यादा इंडस्ट्री जो है वो अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड है. तो आई रिमेंबर्ड वन कोट फ्रॉम सम ऑफ द इंडियन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, नाउ यूनिकॉर्न फाउंडर. ही सेड समथिंग लाइक दिस ऑन अ टॉक, जहाँ पे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर से ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर की तरफ ट्रांजिशन होता है, वहाँ पैसा बनता है. And we thought that we could add great value to people. अगर हम ये पेपर लिखेंगे तो ये शायद किसी फाइल में जाएगा. Maybe people will take cognizance of it या नहीं भी. क्योंकि पार्किंग एज अ सब्जेक्ट ना मेरे अंडर कभी आना था ना अभिमन्यु के अंडर आना था कभी. We thought कि चलो चेक करते हैं अकाउंट में पैसा वैसा है भी कि नहीं. अगर जॉब छोड़ के, एक सिक्योर जॉब छोड़ के दोनों बैठते हैं और बिजनेस लॉन्च करते हैं, ना उसे बिजनेस की कुछ समझ ना मुझे समझ. आई विल बी वेरी ट्रू. आई एम एन ऑपरेशंस गाय, सो इज अभिमन्यु. अभिमन्यु ने फिर भी रेवेन्यूज संभाले हैं काफ़ी ग्रैंड. मैं रेवेन्यूज के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं था. तो बिजनेस की जीरो नॉलेज, पूरे खानदान में किसी ने बिजनेस नहीं करा हुआ है. और आई टोल्ड माई मॉम कि मम्मा आई वांट टू डू दिस, विल डिस्कस दिस ओवर द टॉक. मम्मा ने कुछ कमेंट मुझे बोला कि उनका शी हैड हर ओन एप्रीहेंशंस कि क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए. बट वंस वी हैड इनफ सेविंग्स इन आवर अकाउंट कि हम 2 साल तक घर पे बैठ के खा सकते हैं, पैसा नहीं आने वाला. दैट्स वेयर वी डिसाइडेड कि हाँ अब नाउ वी शुड रिजाइन. सो आई रिजाइंड. अभी मैंने रिजाइन 6 months लेटर, बिकॉज जैसा फिल्मों में दिखाते हैं वैसा नहीं होता. फिर मैं दिखाता ये लीजिए मेरा इस्तीफा कल से नहीं आ रहा, ऐसा नहीं होता. इट डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट. इट टुक मी ऑलमोस्ट 1.5 years to get out of my service. It took almost 2 years for Abhimanyu to get out of service. And that's how Parkmate was born. which later got recasted as BLYP. Long story short, that's our story.
And what does BLYP stand for?
So what is the literal meaning of BLYP? It's not BLYP. There's no abbreviation to it. On radar screen, the radar that you must have seen in the movies, the ping that you get, that ping is called BLYP. So when you are searching for parking on your radar, we are the BLYP you're looking for.
Wow.
That resonates.
And that's also quick. BLYP, in the blip of a second.
Second.
Understood. So from the time you mentioned about this chaos which happened in Delhi, right? After that, 1.5 or 2 years it took for you to launch?
It took us almost, for launch of BLYP, it took us 3 years, but Parkmate started doing well as a company.
Right. So in between those 2 years, what was, what exactly happened and what was your research into?
So what BLYP's idea was, Parkmate's idea then was to eliminate entire parking from people's lives. हम कुछ ऐसा करें कि आपके जीवन से पार्किंग की साइकिल ही खत्म हो जाए. We can somehow eliminate the entire parking cycle. So idea was simpler. We come up with an app. You on your app enter the destination where you want to go. Reach there. Once you reach there, you'll find our attendant already standing and waiting for you. He or she will take your car and will park it for you. Whenever you want your car back, click get my car and your car will be delivered. Technically, we created a valet app. टूटा फूटा बड़ा basic सा app था. That app is still live, by the way. We can show it to you whenever you want it. So हम लोगों ने उस ऐप पे काम शुरू किया था. But हमें जब कहते हैं ना कि पानी में उतरते हैं, that's where we realized after getting into muddy waters of startup ecosystem that it's not that easy. The creation of the app was the easiest part. The real challenge is getting customers, getting paying customers.
That's the hustle.
That's the real hassle. And that is where we realize it's more than what we thought. It's way more than what we thought. There's marketing, so there's customer acquisition cost, then you have to trust customers. So B2C app launch करना जितना आसान लोग सोचते उतना है नहीं. उसके लिए मोटा पैसा चाहिए.
That too in service, of course, is going to be very, very chaotic.
That too in a sector where car is a high value item, you have to win people's trust.
Yeah. True. Yeah, that's true.
So that's where we realized that we could have gone the conventional way, raise money, more money, as much money as possible. Back in those days, हमें business की समझ नहीं है, हम money raising के बारे में ABCD नहीं पता है, तो हम क्या करें? तो हमने सोचा कि चलो या तो हम problem, because I come from and Abhimanyu come from services. I majorly come from services. Services में हार मानना is not an option.
Yeah.
तो ये हमारे में DNA में ट्रेनिंग में ही इंग्रेन हो गया था. तो either we could have said यार चलो sorry गलती हो गई, and we could have said no and maybe move on, but we could have thought of a way out. After a lot of deliberation, a lot of thinking among our team, we were a team of 4 people, 2 tech guys and Abhimanyu and Dhananjaya, that's me, all just 4 of us. We deliberated a lot. Technically we had created a valet app. Why not simplify it further, give it on web version and give it to businesses जहाँ पे valet चलता है, उनके valet paper से चलता है, मैं ऐप से चला देंगे. So that is where we had to struggle really hard, but we got our first pilot project, which was DLF Mall of India, Noida, which is one of the biggest malls of NCR. In fact, today also that is like our crown jewel for us. तो वहाँ पे हमें पहला pilot project मिला. We did our pilot project. Based on that pilot project, उस समय third lockdown लग गया, by the way. Alternate days में market खुल रहे थे, तो बाकी ट्रायल ही हो रहे.
Cherry on the top.
Cherry on the top. But that time it was UP elections were about to happen. So, and Phoenix Palacio, which was one of the biggest Phoenix malls then, and Lulu Mall was opening back in those days in Lucknow. We decided कि UP election है, लखनऊ में तो आसानी से लॉकडाउन नहीं लगेगा. हमें ये लगा, ठीक है. So we approached Phoenix Palacio and Lulu Mall also, and we were very, very lucky, and I would say that we were lucky. And the management of DLF Mall of India and Phoenix Palacio being such a big names, they gave an opportunity to a company which has not even set its foot on the ground. So we got our first pilot project, and from there we took off. And now we are the biggest parking company of NCR. We have got the maximum number of the properties, all the premium properties of NCR, be it DLF Chanakya or be it DLF Emporio, Promenade. We have all the big properties. Most of the M3 properties today, you see the parkings are managed by, or the valets are managed by us through our software. That's how we started. So that's what we were doing. We were building our B2B network back in those days.
Yeah.
But you said, during the ground zero, we would like to know the actual hustle and the first pilot project being DLF. How did you, come to that? How much time and effort did it take? That's the actual hustle. We would love to know that.
Coming from services, services take really good care of its officers and men.
Yeah.
The men's welfare comes first, so they do everything possible in their capacity to give you as much welfare as possible, which includes a lot of value of added services and perks. And I was also when I served last, I was sitting at a senior rank. I won't say very senior, but that's after 10 years of service, I had gained decent enough seniority. People were not coming left and right and could not meet me like this easily, because my time was also limited. I had to plan accordingly to meet new people and hear to everybody's problems. And then when I went for the first appointment with the first meeting, I was trying to gate crash DLF Mall of India's parking management, this mall management office. So the executives from DLF, they were sitting in that. But I'll be very true here. Either I could dramatize it and tell you कि अरे बस वहाँ पे ऐसा हुआ, खून पसीना बहाना पड़ा, गाड़ी में बैठ गया उनके साथ, जैसे I've seen a lot of founders saying that. I sat into his car, in his cab. Nah, I'll be very true. They were very open to a new idea. I pitched to around more than 200 people on LinkedIn of the major malls of NCR, and the biggest of the malls, the management. They called us for the meeting after around probably second or third time I pinged them. They all responded, okay, let's meet. Obviously, getting an appointment was with them took us a lot of time, but ऐसा कोई sob story नहीं है हमारे पास बताने के लिए. They gave us an opportunity, they met us with an open heart, they heard us, they listened to us. उन्होंने पूरा, और अभी भी we reach out to people. अब तो चलिए, people still know us. I mean, in those circles, people know कि this is a company which is doing some work in this area. So people give you a little more weightage. अब थोड़ा सा weightage ज़्यादा मिलने लगा है, but कोई sob story नहीं है. They were very lucky, very open. Everybody met us with open hearts, and we are very kind to everybody who has met us, who has give us an opportunity. We are really, really thankful to you for giving Parkmate, then now BLYP, a chance. हम जहाँ भी आपकी वजह से हैं. Thank you.
So I just want to know that how did your family react when you said that you're leaving a secure government job and moving into parking, like parking cars, or just moving something into mobility? Like how did your family react? Like, was it just your mom? Was it your whole family? How was it?
So it's a very interesting story, and a lot of people will relate to it. When I first actually decided, I first spoke to my wife, because mom is also working, she has a house of her own, but wife is dependent on me a little bit. Not, I won't say fully, she was working still, but my decisions also directly impact her life. So I spoke to my wife first. She was the first one to give me the confidence. ठीक है, if you think it is right, I am the first one to stand with you. आप 2 साल कुछ नहीं कहोगे, I'll manage whatever I can. So I'll handle all the things. So I got my first enough confidence from my wife. Okay, nahi, let's do it. Let's do it. So, but then came the real hassle of saying my mom कि मम्मा, मैं एक क्लास 1 गैजेट ऑफिसर वाली जॉब छोड़ के मैं गाड़ियाँ पार्क करना चाहता हूँ. So my mom said कि तुम पागल हो गए हो, तुम्हारा दिमाग खराब हो गया है कि तुम नीली बत्ती गाड़ी छोड़ के अब तुम गाड़ियाँ पार्क करोगे, लोग मजाक उड़ाएंगे, पागल बोलेंगे सब लोग. एंड शी हैड हर ओन अप्रेंशन. वो मैं उनको अपनी जगह गलत नहीं मानता भाई. उनकी देयर इज अ कॉमेडियन, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग हिज नेम, whatever, I'm forgetting his name. There's a comedian's line, comics line is कि पेरेंट्स तुम्हारा बुरा नहीं चाहते, पेरेंट्स तुम्हें गरीब नहीं देखना चाहते. आई थिंक इज जाकिर खान्स लाइन. तो जाकिर खान ने सेड कि पेरेंट्स गलत नहीं है, बट वो आपको बस गरीब नहीं देखना चाहते. उनकी समझ में था शी वांटेड बेस्ट फॉर मी, बट एनीवे आई डिफाइड दैट बिकॉज डिसीजन मैं ले चुका था ऑलरेडी. मैंने रेजिग्नेशन फाइल कर दिया था मम्मा को बताने से पहले कि क्या होगा, मम्मी मुझे मनाएंगी तो भी वोट सेल हो चुकी, अब तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता, अब तो उतर चुके हो मैदान में. But anyway, I had to convince her. She got convinced. She was finally supportive of me despite of all the things. Jobs छोड़ने के बाद भी कम से कम 1-1.5 साल तक गालियाँ पड़ी हैं मुझे, बीच बीच में कमेंट्स पड़े हैं, बेवकूफ़ हो, इतना ही परेशानी, because it was really tough. It is really tough. It is really tough. I mean, just for the sake of example, I have a big puja happening on this 1st, and I cannot go to that puja because I've got another work here which I cannot say no to. So my mom and my grandmom, my nani, ऑल्सो सेज कि यार मतलब वो सही था जॉब, सब कुछ होता, क्या परेशानी थी, ठीक है, डिप्लॉयमेंट्स होते थे, थोड़ा सा सेटिस्फैक्टर था, बट ओवरऑल इट वाज सिक्योर, यू आर डूइंग अ वेरी गुड जॉब देयर. ये ऐसा नहीं हो कि घर के मैटर्स में तुम नहीं जा पा रहे हो, यहाँ पे तुम घर से 2 घंटा दूर रहते हो, तुम तब नहीं आ पा रहे हो. So it is not as easy as I thought it would be. It is the toughest thing that I have done so far. But yeah, eventually now when we have started doing well, people like you have called us on your podcast. So उन्हें लगता है कि it's now worth it. करना ठीक था. बाकी शार्क टैंक वगैरह जो थे प्लस आइडिया बाज वगैरह टीवी शोज जो हैं, इन लोगों से जनरल पब्लिक हैव कम टू नो मोर अबाउट बिजनेस. बैक इन दोज डेज, आई एम 4 years ago, nobody knew about business. And I tell my mom I want to start up. So for her to explain, for me to explain कि मैं startup कर रहा हूँ.
On that note, what has changed and how much, to what extent has it changed, while working and being a founder here?
You're talking about my personal life? कि personal livelihood या?
About professional right now, and we'll move towards the personal part also.
Okay, first I used to work for a set number, unless when I was in deployment. So I was on deployment for around 15 days to sometimes 16, 18 days in a month. Deployment mein there are no working hours, you're working for 24 hours. But your responsibility was very different. But here the fight is not a fight for some operational success or excellence, it's a fight for survival. Time is capital here. स्टार्टअप फाउंडर्स विल रिलेट टू इट, और जिन्होंने अर्ली करा है और आप लोग भी इससे बहुत जल्दी रिलेट करोगे, पहली तारीख कब आ जाती है पता नहीं चलता. एंड फर्स्ट कम्स एंड यू हैव टू पे सैलरीज, you have to review all the numbers, you have to plan accordingly, you have to plan for a longer term, then you have got so many things to do. So back in those days the tension was less. It's really stressful, but the positions in which the founders sit, we don't have the liberty to have, or to, I won't say that everybody has to do it, but we don't have the liberty of being under stress, because हमारी मदद करने कोई नहीं आएगा. There's nobody you can turn to. Yes, there are friends, people like you who can always guide us, listen to us. There are investors who are sitting on our board. पहले शुरू में तो investors भी नहीं थे. At that point of time when we were at the lowest, because starting point पे भी नहीं थे, we were in minus, क्योंकि हमें समझ भी नहीं थी. There was nobody to turn to. We had better sleep back in those days than sometimes now. But it's a forever going fight. So on personality front, professional front, yes, I'm making probably more money than I was there. But नींद पहले थोड़ी टेंशन फ्री आती थी rather than अब. अब तो नींद आ जाए यही बहुत है. I hardly sleep for 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours maximum मेरे सुपर में नींद मुझे आती ही नहीं है. I wake up myself.
So how's your day like, on a regular day when you're working? So do you can you take us through your day? Like what do you do in the morning and how does your day end?
Okay, so my day starts at 6 a.m. I go to gym at 7. I return by 8 a.m. I work out. I'm not building, but I make sure that I maintain a particular body weight and I make my day active. I come back. I have 3 big dogs. I play with them, and I have a very small child. He's just turned 3. He has a school at 9, so उसके साथ I try to spend when I come home after taking bath and all that. I try to give time to them. I play with them. I take them out for walk. My son always joins as the fourth guy. So we play, and I try my best to go and drop him to school every day. What we have done in our company, we have kept the office hours as 10:30. So by 9:30 or 9:45, I leave from my home. I reach office. The first thing that I do, I have divided my day in certain time slots. I can share it if required, but that's a company thing to do. I won't say that everybody should follow that, but I as a founder have my day slots divided. So like I'll reach there by, let's say, 11 or 11:15. So all the reviews will happen till 12:30. Unless some meeting comes up. So the first 1.5 hours is for only reviews. That includes sales का जो pipeline है उसका review. Financial review normally I have in the evening. Financial reviews I don't do in the morning because बहुत सारे transactions होते हैं जो पिछले दिन के आपको आते दोपहर हो जाती है. Because in the kind of business that we are, the invoices timing takes time. So all the reviews, then sales pipeline, then creative, then marketing का हम लोग का जो plan है, plus team के performances है, कुछ भी step का review है, we do it before 12:30. 12:30 to 2 o'clock. I have given only for fire fighting. That means जो चीज़ जहाँ फटती है वो सब मेरे को 12:30 से 2 बजे के आसपास लेकर आओ, और 2 का 2:30 का 3 बज जाता है, क्योंकि वो कब फटेगा आपके पास टाइम नहीं है, वो बीच बीच में आता रहता है. बट ये जो पर्टिकुलर टाइम है, इसमें जितने भी मेरे पास जो डे टू डे के जितने भी चैलेंजेस हैं, they are presented to us, I and Abhimanyu, from 12:30 to 2. Sometimes we have calls in between. Most of the times I have calls. Abhimanyu runs the company. I try to make sure that the money is brought in the company from anywhere and everywhere possible. I look after the product, fundraise, and information about the company. Major काम Abhimanyu करता है. He was supposed to be here. He's not well right now, so he's not here. Abhimanyu, I'm missing you. Because I have to speak for you also. So, but then हम लोगों का till 2 o'clock, 2 to 2:30 I have my lunch. Half an hour I give to myself. I try to finish my lunch in 15 minutes. I try to take a power nap for 15 minutes. And बीच में phone calls होते हैं और calls होते हैं. From 3 to 5 is where I do my creative work. Is my work. No meeting, nobody is allowed inside that time. Yeah, people do come for certain things. Unless something goes, 2 to 5 is my creative time, where I do all the thinking, where the planning is happening, where reviews are happening, जिसमें मेरे point of views हैं, इसमें मेरे को कुछ views हैं, तो मैं बुला के उस time पे करता हूँ. 5 again I have every day's financial review. 5 to 5:30 के बीच में कभी भी होता है वो, depending कि वो when the particular thing is happening. Normally the time is 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock I set for my financial review, which normally takes an hour's time, because we are an early stage company. उसमें MIS भी है, हर चीज़ का कंट्रीब्यूशन बहुत बड़ा है. आपके रेवेन्यू में हर छोटी चीज़ का बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन है, और बहुत सारे आपको ये इनसाइट्स देते हैं. हर ₹1 भी आ रहा है. एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई वुड लाइक टू टेल टू अदर फाउंडर्स ऑल्सो, कि व्हेन यू आर अर्ली स्टेज, ये 10, 12, 50 करोड़ 100 करोड़ तक बनते कंपनी बनते हैं, ऑल ऑफ पीपल विल रिलेट कि ₹1 का इम्पैक्ट डायरेक्टली आपको पता चलता है आपके डिसीजन मेकिंग पे. तो उसमें टाइम लगता है. एंड आई ट्राई टू लीव माई ऑफिस बाय 6:30, बट वो थोड़ा सा लेट हो जाता है. एंड आई स्टिल हैव माई कॉल्स टिल 10:30, 11, 12:30 ऑल्सो. टेक टीम के साथ जो व्यू होता है वो शुरू में ही होता है. फर्स्ट जो रिव्यू था उसमें टेक रिव्यू भी होता है हमारा. आई रीच होम बाय 7:30 और 8 o'clock. आई गो टेक बाथ, ईट समथिंग एज सून एज पॉसिबल, स्पेंड सम टाइम विद माई चाइल्ड. बट मैक्सिमम टाइम क्या होता है कि 8, 8:30 तक वो सो चुका होता है. तो आई ट्राई टू लीव बिफोर 8, कि एटलीस्ट उसके साथ 10-15 मिनट्स ऑल्सो मिल जाए. कई बार ऐसा होता है, दिस इज अ वेरी कॉमनली हैपनिंग थिंग राइट नाउ, पिछले 1 महीने से बहुत हो रहा है, कि मैं जाता हूँ तो सो रहा होता है, मैं वापस आता हूँ तो मेरे को उसके 10 मिनट मिलते हैं कि उसको मेरी वाइफ छोड़ने जा रही होती है, और जब तक मैं वापस आता हूँ वो सो चुका होता है. पेरेंटल गिल्ट kills you from inside. अरे यार, what kind of father am I? Kills you from inside.
I think that's the change in your personal life, which we were talking about, right?
There's no personal life. There's only work life.
Right. You spoke about firefighting, right? And this space is actually a lot operationally intensive, right? And weekends being the peak, right? How do you manage your whole week, days, or probably the month? It becomes very difficult, right? After a point.
Sahil, right now we are sitting at a very comfortable stage. I've got really experienced, really good people who have managed this for me. I have to name my team members: Rohit Sehgal, Amit Malhotra, Nishank Wilson, Abhimanyu, my co-founder, obviously, my second wife. I would call him my second wife. My wife was joking just a day before कि उसके साथ ज़्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करते हो मेरे से ज़्यादा. You spend more time with Abhimanyu rather than me. So technically I call him my second wife. So these people normally manage all the operational challenges, especially our Amit Malhotra, Nishank Wilson, and Rohit Sehgal. इसमें भी I'll have to give kudos to Amit Malhotra and Nishank Wilson. So because Rohit looks after B2B network, तो B2B के challenges अलग हैं. बट जो ग्राउंड ऑपरेशंस हैं फॉर ओपन मार्केट्स, फॉर अनऑर्गेनाइज मार्केट, दे आर मैनेज बाय अमित मल्होत्रा एंड निशांक विल्सन, विच ऑल्सो इंक्लूड स्मार्ट सिटीज, जहाँ पे कस्टमर उतना कई बार आपसे काइंड नहीं होता जितना कि एक मॉल में होगा. सो दे हैव ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम हैव गॉट रेलेवेंट एक्सपीरियंस टू हैंडल ऑल द फायर फाइटिंग मैटर ऑफ ऑपरेशंस. वी आर प्रेटी हार्मोनाइज्ड ऑन ऑपरेशंस. We are well trained, we have very good staff, and we make sure, and our ideology is not to do the damage control, but rather to be on the preventive side. कि precaution और prevention इससे लिए जाए कि issue कम से कम हो, और अगर होता है तो बाकी these guys are very well trained in handling this, especially on the weekends.
Especially on the weekends. True.
So I want to ask, did you have any fear, or what fear were you carrying before you actually made the jump for BLYP? Or, like, what was the fear that you would like want to talk about? Be it professional, be it personal, anything.
Convincing family we've already discussed.
Yeah.
Convincing yourself, right? That
Like, what was the fear inside
that
of
time
you?
comes.
You want me to be honest about it, na?
Yes,
course.
be honest.
I don't want to give any glamorous founder type answer कि यार ये ऐसा था वैसा था कुछ बहुत अच्छा नहीं है. I'll tell you the truth. Okay, बहुत डर था. It still is there. कि नहीं हुआ तो क्या, नहीं चला तो क्या. और this fear was less when we were just planning. And I would like to say this: it's a learning that service gave me, that armed forces have given me, and I would suggest everyone else to follow this thing before they actually take the startup jump. Unless you don't have enough financial safety. I left a job after 10 years of experience. First, you should not have a plan B. First, you should not have plan B. This should be only thing that you would be doing. If you cannot dedicate your 200-500% to it, you just don't do it. Financial backing is a must before taking this step of faith. आप बहुत जगह ये ग्लैमरस होता है सुनोगे यू अरे भाई नहीं आप जॉब छोड़ दो 9 to 5 जॉब्स खराब हैं. I've seen a lot of influencers talking about it. There's nothing in 9 to 5. What will you build in 9 to 5? कि focus on building for yourself. I work for somebody else. This is bullshit. Please forgive my language, but this is nothing else but bullshit. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. हम भी तो लोगों से यहाँ पे स्टार्टअप लॉन्च करने का 9 to 5 ही करा रहे हैं. 10:30 to 6:30 करा रहे हैं. 9 to 5 नहीं करा रहे तो. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. Financial backing you should have enough. जब आपके पास इतनी सेविंग हो कि कम से कम आप 2 साल अपना at least you have enough to pay bills. Only then do it. If you don't have that financial backing, please don't do it. It is foolish, extremely foolish. हमारे पास इनिशियल कॉन्फिडेंस हमारी फाइनेंशियल सेफ्टी से आया था. एंड आई एम वेरी लकी कि मेरे पास अभी भी पेंशन आती है डेस्पेट ऑफ मी लिविंग द सर्विस. सो दैट गेव मी कॉन्फिडेंस. छोटा सा अमाउंट आता है, बड़ा नहीं आता, बट वो 4,500-5,000 रुपये ही बहुत ज़्यादा बड़े लगते हैं एक पॉइंट पे व्हेन यू स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग अप, right? Because I left service in between. I should have, if I had superannuated, I would have got higher amount of pension. I left in between before completing my 20 years or superannuation time. But वो 4,500 रुपये आगा मेरे को पेंशन आता है. एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू वो 4,500 रुपीज़ जो है ना वो भी वरदान लगते हैं कई बार और उनकी वैल्यू अलग है. So first thing that you should do is you should look for financial backing. If you don't have financial backing, please don't do it. And there's nothing wrong with 9 to 5 jobs. They are very good. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5 jobs.
That's the financial aspect to it. What about the motivation, right? It brings up at the initial stages, I would say, right? Day one or probably the month one. फिर वो धीरे-धीरे it fades away. So what is your advice to other founders who are just starting up? How did it went for you as well?
The right motivation for me, I was very comfortable in my job. The right motivation for me was something else. We wanted to solve the problem of parking. हम लोगों ने अपने ईगो पे लिया था एंड हम लोगों ने इसको लिटरली ईगो पे ले लिया था कि यार ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है हमारे साथ और कितने लोगों के साथ करो. हाउ कैन पीपल लाइक देम डू इट. एंड व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड रीडिंग अबाउट इट, व्हेन वी लर्न अबाउट द स्केल ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम, वी फाउंड जितना हम इतना पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम समझ रहे हैं ये बहुत बड़े लेवल का प्रॉब्लम है. Just to give you some numbers, 30% of all traffic jams are caused because of cars circling around for parking or who are looking for parking or are illegally parked. Parking congestion की वजह से लगभग 30% जाम होता है. 30% में हमें 3% भी सॉल्व कर दिया तो बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व है. Especially for traffic congestion. For city आप ये सोचो. And then I learned that it's a government survey that 4 of the biggest cities of this country suffer from a economic opportunity loss of more than 1.5 lakh crore because of traffic congestion, जिसमें से 40,000 सिर्फ parking congestion की वजह से है. So that's the scale of just 4 cities. I'm not talking about India. India is an aspirational country. We cannot just say that people from tier 2, tier 3 are not aspirational anymore. People only in tier 1. No, they are not. Tier 2, tier 3 में लोगों के पास इतना opportunity, they are aspirational. They want to get best of the convenience, best of the services. So that's why tier 2, tier 3 towns, the problem is going to grow every year. So we saw an economic opportunity also out of the motivation which we got कि problem solve करना है. Because we saw कि it was a ego based problem solution motivation backed by an economic opportunity. ये दोनों नहीं है. So this I have to bring out. Okay, this is for everyone who wants to start a startup. आपको 3 चीजें चेक करनी है. First, if you see a problem which is can be your personal problem, first check the scale of the problem. Second, देखो क्या solution बन सकता है इस problem का. तीसरा ये देखो जो आपका solution है, is it scalable enough and would people be ready to pay for it? अगर तीनों आपके प्लस 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 हैं और नहीं है, तीनों एंड है, तीनों पे टिक मार्क होता है, then you have a startup at hand. Else, it is a localized problem. Don't do it. And I've tested this model on every possible startup available to you or every possible company to you.
So the idea was born. You've spoken about the incident which happened, right? So post that, how much time did you put into this thought that you'll start something like Parkmate from the beginning, right? So how did you actually come to that conclusion? What was your breaking point where you thought that we have to work on this? Other than the incident, right, that happened just one day. Beyond that, before speaking with your wife, with your family, or the co-founder as well. So what was that point which convinced you yourself? How much time did it take?
Okay, 1.5 years we put in for the research. After almost 8-9 months, the data started making sense to us. It gave us initial eureka moment कि भाई problem बहुत बड़ी है. This is not a small problem. And when we did this, we did our research on the startups and what other companies around the world are doing in this space. बाकी सारे countries कैसे solve कर रहे हैं. And when we compared it with India, the confidence further rose. हमें लगा कि नहीं ये opportunity इंडिया में है. तीसरा हमने ये देखा कि European solutions या American solutions can be replicated to India. Like there is for every DoorDash there is a Zomato, or for every Uber there will be Ola, and all that. यही सब हो रहा था उस time पे. So is there a solution that we can replicate in India? There we actually learned कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. इंडिया में जो बाहर वाले solution है वो replicate नहीं हो सकते because India has its own challenges. They are very specific to India. उस point में मेरे ये realize हुआ. तो motivation थोड़ा नीचे गिरा. फिर Abhimanyu and I we used to speak about this because we were trying to make sense of the data that was coming out, or we were and whichever city we were visiting next, or because service required me to travel a lot. कभी बैंगलोर जा रहे हैं या छोटे शहर जा रहे हैं या मुंबई जा रहे हैं या small town like मदुरई or Thoothukudi, these smaller towns, we saw that the challenge was common everywhere. So that actually further instilled the problem कि अगर हम इसे economic opportunity बनाते हैं तो it will not be just a small solution for major cities, it will be valid for everywhere, and maybe in the future we can globalize it also with the solution that we have. So we saw that the opportunity was big, and we realized that the problem was big. 2 तो tick marks हमारे समय उस समय लग रहे थे. इस सब में इतना conviction build होने में लगभग 2 साल लगा है. 2018 से 2020 तक आते थे. When the first lockdown happened, I spoke to my wife about leaving the service and doing something because service does not allow you to own an office or private profit. That wouldn't be ethical. So if I wanted to do this myself, or Abhimanyu and I, we spoke only during the first lockdown about it कि यार कर सकते हैं इसमें कुछ बना सकते हैं. I spoke to my wife for the first time during the first lockdown. 2 साल almost लग गए मुझे इसमें. वो इतना conviction build करने में कि इस पे कुछ किया जा सकता है.
Did either one of you ever thought of any other idea, and why only this parking space really spiked that entrepreneur side of you, and then you actually research into it for the next 2 years? So was there any other space which interests you in between or before that also in life?
No, Sahil, because the motivation for starting BLYP was not to do a not to do a parking thing or not to do a startup.
Correct.
For those founders who have a motivation कि अपने नाम के आगे founder लगा देना है, or who want to see who are wooed by the glamour of a startup. It's not glamorous, by the way. It just seems glamorous. It's like eating broken glass, walking on fire. It's literally like that. Sleeping on a bed of nails. ऐसा ही है. That's the reality of a startup. Our motivation to do BLYP was trying to solve a problem. So there was not a eureka moment on idea and all that. We wanted to solve the problem which we thought that maybe we can solve if we do it ourselves. And that's how BLYP was born. It was not because of the motivation of doing a startup. That's why we never thought of any other idea. This is bread and butter and like breathing for us. That's a problem we set out to solve, and we have solved it for majority of areas. We will solve it for India and for the world also very soon. But we are going to solve this problem.
So when the idea struck, did you think it was pure logic or was it like gut बोल रहा है करना ही है अब तो?
गट से तो हम जाते ही नहीं है. I'll be very true. जब जब हमने गट को ट्रस्ट किया तब तब मूंगी खाई है. In God we trust, and after God we trust data. So it's again learning that we have learned over a period of time कि trust your gut, because somehow your heart knows कि नहीं क्या सही होगा, कहीं ना कहीं intuition आता है, but unless it's backed by data और by iota of that कि data उस तरफ जा रहा है, we don't take a decision. जब जब हमने अपने सिर्फ gut की सुनी तब हमने मूंगी खाई है, and every time it has landed us in trouble. Yes, so in God we trust, and after that we trust data. We don't listen to our gut alone.
थोड़ा डेटा के बारे में बात करते हैं. You spoke about initially, right, that there are so many cars in India. The country has at least the metro cities it's being very chaotic to park all these cars, to maintain for the government as well, or the private spaces also, right? So let's talk about the stats which you researched during these 2 years.
Okay, so we learned that आपको दो तो मैंने बता ही दिए that majorly Delhi more than 1 crore cars are parked, and the funny part is most of the government bodies have no idea कि वहाँ पे कितनी गाड़ी पार्क हो रही है. And we have done during our research, not even a single body had a proper data to tell you how many cars are parked in a day, what is the revenue the parking operator, the parking ठेकेदार or the parking contractor, so-called parking mafia is making. So this was eye-opening for us. कि यार सरकार के पास ये डेटा नहीं है. Why this has to be brought out. Beyond this, the data of numbers, like for example, Delhi alone, we learned that there are approximately 95,000 official parking spaces. Then EPCA had a data that they have submitted in a court that there are more than 1 crore cars are parked every day. And then we did our own ground research. It was going sometimes even more than 1 crore in a day. That means 95,000 cars, 106 cars are looking for parking space, but the cars are getting parked. So the amount of revenue that goes out of, not to the government, but actually out of the market is more than 80%.
True.
So that's where we saw कि इतना illegally parking manage हो रहा है, parking mafia इतना बड़ा है. Then we studied कि how many cities have an official department which actually is looking after that. Cities have a department. How much work is being done? We took 4 of the biggest cities of the country. Then we took 6 of the smaller cities in the country. Smaller cities, no, I won't say small cities, including my hometown. And Abhimanyu's hometown, we picked those cities because we know the cities well. We learnt about as much the problem, what would be the scale of the problem in our cities first. That is it restricted to just tier 2 and tier 3 or tier 1. But then we learnt, because we did a pilot in tier 3, we learnt that it was, and I'll be very true, for the first 1.5 years, our major revenues came from Lucknow, not from Delhi.
So like how would you differentiate between Lucknow and Delhi's parking situation right now? Like how would you compare it?
Look, Lucknow is extremely aspirational town. It's an extremely aspirational town. In the beginning, we thought कि यहाँ पे उतना बड़ा नहीं बनेगा. That's a compared Delhi's day starts early. Lucknow starts late.
They're more traditional.
They are more traditional. They are more localized on businesses, on people. Everybody knows everybody. It's a political center, epicenter of Uttar Pradesh, and a lot of government officials are there. Obviously, there's a secretariat, so everything will be there. So things move very fast when they're implemented. And when we had actually started, Yogi ji had just taken over, and Honorable Chief Minister ji was very, very kind to us because we saw the transition happening in how the government departments work. Like we got our first smart city project in Lucknow. Right. So the municipal commissioner, Shri Indrajit ji, then a municipal commissioner of Lucknow, was very kind to us to notice us and give us an opportunity. In fact, the then chief secretary of Uttar Pradesh, Shri Durga Shankar Mishra ji, now retired IAS officer, he gave us an opportunity. We came in for inaugurating the first smart city project in a town like Lucknow. He appreciated us on record, which normally you don't hear from government officials of the services that we have done. The city was very welcoming of us. And in Delhi, it was more about hustle. It was more about how organized you are, how big you are, how much money you have in bank, how much. I won't say shoshabaji, it was more organized when it comes to business, while in Lucknow, people were more heartful towards us. People gave us an opportunity. So people still trust people, not numbers. So that was the difference between Delhi and Lucknow that we have seen. It's a more people-oriented city. In here, because everybody has to answer to everybody, it was more dependent on numbers. क्या तुम्हारा record है? Though we did get our first pilot project in NCR, but again, Noida is still Uttar Pradesh. So that's where I would say, and I would say, सीना ठोके. I won't say that. People value people here more. Gave us an opportunity because they saw that we were trying to do something. Delhi mein it has took us some more time to win the trust, which is justified. Yeah, that's the difference.
There were few more, from the earlier times, there were more companies who were into the space, right? And they were also trying their luck in the valet side, right? So what was BLYP's idea, which actually cracked, right, to make or move this into a much more organized way?
I shouldn't say that I'm technically speaking for other companies, but we have studied our competition in detail, in depth. Because it's an industry where not enough work has been done, so even they did not have a proven test case. So they have taken the decision as per their learnings. But we thought that we would either, because we didn't have enough money, as much money as our competitors had. हमारे competition का $57 million लेके बैठा था. हमारे पास 5700 रुपए नहीं थे एक point पे. ठीक है, so our learning was very different. Either we could have tried and replicate what they were trying to do, और खुद मर जाते, or we could have written our own playbook based on the learnings that we have taken, while keeping an eye on learning from them. And I'll tell you one of my competitions when we got the first pilot project in Mall of India. So this thing has to, I've not told this anywhere, and I will tell this, share it here only. My biggest competitor approached us. In fact, two of the biggest competitors approached us. I met the CEO of one of the company. He made fun of me. He called me to his office. His staff was very kind to us because their staff liked what we had built in our valet service. The CEO made fun of us in front of his team members. He said something like, कितने IITs हैं तुम्हारे पास? कौन सा IIT से पढ़े हो तुम? कितने square feet का तुम्हारा office है? They asked these kind of things and made fun of us. And I wouldn't judge him for it. Based on his learnings, because that competition was biggest at that time. The second biggest competitor, they said कि ये सब क्या करो, हमसे partnership कर लो. We said that we have just started. This is just our MVP. We are trying to build our service. So this is not the right moment. We would like to take learning, and we would, want to partner right now. Maybe we are open to partnership, but not right now. And another mall that I have to actually thanks is God City Mall, again Noida extension. It's one of the biggest malls of the area. They gave us a chance for our first project. They gave us a proper project, not a pilot project. They gave us a first project, and there also half of the parking, actually majority of the parking was managed by our competition, and the valet was managed by us. And we have heard things like, अरे तो 2% का business है मेरा, parking का 2% भी नहीं है mall के parking का valet का, इन लोगों से क्या चीज़ है, which made sense. But what we have learned over the period of time is, and based on our learnings is, either you can build a Facebook where you can do the best of everything, or Hike Messenger where you build everything, or you can be a WhatsApp messaging, do messaging for a long term. उसको जो एक करो उसको ठीक से करो. And we openly claim that we have got the best valet service in the world. We've got the best valet software in the world, not just in India. We openly challenge to our competitors also to try and do what we are doing. Despite of having way less money, way less coverage, way less PR, way less knowledge about us, today we are the biggest player of NCR. We have got the biggest of the properties, some of the primest properties of NCR today, purely on our slow movement, but a sustainable movement. Based on the learnings that we took, we made ourselves, not by our competitors. हम लोगों का बीच में खुजली तो बड़ी मची थी कि चलो रेजिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग में घुस जाते हैं, बट कंपटीशन का पैसा था जलाने को, उसमें बिल्ड कर सकता था, हम वो रेप्लिकेट नहीं कर सकते. हमने उसे 2-4 जगह 5 जगह रेप्लिकेट करने की कोशिश करी, फिर हमें रियलाइज हुआ फिर नहीं, हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा. सो दिस नॉट अ सस्टेनेबल बिजनेस. सो वी टुक अ कॉल कि नहीं, लेट्स पुल अ प्लग एंड डू व्हाट वी डू. छोटा है, ग्रोथ स्लो होगी, बट जो होगी वो स्ट्रॉन्ग और सस्टेनेबल होगी. छोटा सा वर्टिकल बिल्ड करा, बट हाँ, what we knew what we could build, we did it right. Did it best. Won't say that did it right, we did it best possible.
So in the recent days, do you think that has the competitors, the ones that you're talking about, जिन्होंने उस time they made fun and stuff like that, so do you think they would ever come back abhi वापस just to congratulate you on what you've done, like how you're building the brand, or like if that happens, just a hypothetical scenario, how would you react? What would you say to them now?
I'll be very true. Okay. when they made fun of me, I have not taken it as offense. First of all, please don't. I don't want to sound like that. I still look up to both of my competitors, two of the biggest ones. I won't name them right now, but they know who I'm talking about. I still look up to them. I still study them, and I spend good enough time in studying and tracking their movements. I'm a little paranoid guy. और coming from services, मतलब आपके rival को read करना, उसको study करना is a part of our day-to-day task. So I had to take a lot of learnings from them. If let's say sometime they come back to us for anything that we can do together, we want to build this thing together. In fact, we have proposed to some of the players of the industry, okay, let's come and make an association of parking. Like there are associations outside India. What happens when the fight starts happening on money, on the margins? That's where the bloodbath happens. Let's set a पेप्सी ले लो आप, पेप्सी और कोक आप मार्केटिंग में देखो एक दूसरे का कितना कितना मजाक बनाते हैं, एप्पल एंड सैमसंग, बट when you see to the prices of the product, they're always in the same range. I mean, I know that a Pepsi can sell more if it sells for 1 rupee more less or 2 rupee less, but it never goes there. Same goes for chips also in the industry. Though industry is too diversified, but in the similar sector, the prices are more or less same because they have a gentleman's agreement, I would say, that they have parlayed कि नहीं है ठीक है, इसको ज़मीन पे लड़ेंगे, prices पे नहीं लड़ेंगे, दोनों का नुकसान फायदा नहीं करेंगे. यहाँ पे अभी तक वैसा नहीं हो पाया. So I even proposed to one of my other competitors that I'm very friendly with. I'll say Parkmate guys, we love you guys. तुम लोग बहुत अच्छे हो. 5 IITians. We really appreciate what they are doing. They're doing some extremely good work. They are our competitors, but yeah, we still consider them as healthy competition. If any of the competitor comes in the future and says कि चलो ये साथ में करते हैं. In fact, हम लोग काफ़ी जगह अपने competitor के साथ कर रहे हैं. सेम चीज़ कर रहे हैं कि मतलब सॉफ्टवेयर हमारा है, ऑपरेशंस उनके पास है, बट अपने वर्टिकल हम लोग अब तक कर रहे हैं. तो इफ़ वी कैन डू इट ऑन अ लार्जर स्केल टुगेदर, वी वांट टू सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम ऑफ पार्किंग. इट्स अ वेरी बिग प्रॉब्लम. By hook or by crook, we are ready to do partnership with any of them. Even if they come in the future, everything is good for us. We are happy to partner with them.
In the way of bifurcation of areas or collectively doing this in all areas together?
Sahil, I will not be able to comment right now based on the geographies. कि ये तुम्हारा area और मेरा, that will be very mafia-like. That will not be healthy for general public. Because our end is to solve the problem, is not to create more problem for the public who's suffering that. It will be very mafia-like कि वो तुम मेरे संभाल लो, इस area में मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगा. That is not what we want to do. We want the competition to be healthy among each other and sometimes work together in solving a problem which is way more peculiar. For example, Delhi जो हमारे भी 2 सबसे बड़े कॉम्पिटिटर हैं, वो अकेले वैसे 10 कंपनी मिलके भी सॉल्व नहीं कर पाएंगे. मैं अकेला नहीं कर सकता उसको, ये मुझे ही पता है. We know the scale. For example, Delhi. Let's take a Mumbai. Mumbai's problems are different. It's not a one-size-fits-all solutions. Bangalore is a very different market. Tier 2, Tier 3s are very similar. State-wise problems differ. South में state-wise, South में ही states में अलग-अलग problems हैं. We need more support in solving this problem for government, from competitors, from friends from other industries. We need the ecosystem support to actually solve this problem. We are open to a partnership, always.
What was the moment when you realized that this challenge is really very huge? Like at day 0 when we started off, you thought, it's going to scale to this level. Of course, you had done your research, but you never imagined that this is going to be like, it's a very operationally intensive work, right? Like we have already discussed. So what was that one moment when you realized that, oh shit, we have started this journey, but it's going to be very difficult reaching to that level. Of course, it's still going on. The road is, quite far to reach there. But not talking about the learnings, but what was that single moment when you realized that it's quite huge, what we're trying to do?
Okay. So the moment where we realize this opportunity that we have is a huge opportunity, जो हम सोच रहे थे शायद उससे भी बड़ी opportunity है, is because when we started, we were too small. Product बहुत अच्छे बनाए हमने, but जो बनाए हैं, and I have to give it to my technical team. Arjun, who's no more a part of it because he's gone for his own higher education. The new tech team, the new CTO that we have, Neeraj. जब local contractor हमारे पास आने लगे partnership करने के लिए, when we saw that some of the biggest contractors, the parking operators, started approaching us to do a consortium with them rather than us doing it together, when they started approaching us, that is where we realized that something has been done, right? Something has been cracked. Because the contractors partnering with technically a competitor, that means they must be desperate. That's where we saw an opportunity. Okay, if they are approaching us, and it's an industry which has been running like the exact same way for last 75 years, that's where we saw the big opportunity. कि जितना हम सोच रहे हैं उससे ज़्यादा बड़ी है.
So early days का any day that you remember जिसको सुन के या फिर सोच के अभी भी हार्ट रेट बढ़ जाती है?
अर्ली डेज हो गया, मैं अगले पिछले साल का बताता हूँ. जितना ग्लैमरस दिखता है उतना नहीं है. लास्ट ईयर 3 days बिफोर दीपावली I had 54 rupees in my account. My wife's account collectively. That means अगर मेरे 3 साल के बच्चे को मुझे 2 पैकेट दूध के दिलाने पड़े, I couldn't take it, couldn't buy it. And I'm talking about 3 days before Diwali. But we were in midst of a fundraise, no, end of a fundraise. मतलब उस दिवाली के 2 दिन बाद तो we had the money in the bank also. But those 5-6 days before Diwali were the toughest days of my life. So I'll tell you how tough it was. And it's not a sob story. It सब सारे founders के ऐसा हुआ है. ये मुझे बाद में realize हुआ. But since we are discussing it, दीपावली से 1 महीना पहले सब लोग के वो जाते हैं arrears तो नहीं, they call what bonuses जाते हैं, which is sometimes 50% of their salary तक भी जाता है कुछ special areas में. तो bonuses का मतलब you pay them extra. But most of the clients last year did not pay us during Diwali but pay us after Diwali. And then we made a point कि आगे से कभी नहीं करेंगे, and the clients listened to us, all our customers listened to us, and they made the payment before Diwali this year. So we did not land into this problem. And at that time I had to make the payment. I'll tell you, and this is for the first time I'm telling on record, I had to mortgage everything I had. In fact, my wife mortgaged all her jewelry also to make the payments. हमारे पास पैसा नहीं था. अभी Manu mortgaged all his gold that time to pay the staff. और उसके बाद 3 दिन पहले दीपावली से I wanted to travel to my family, and mom still doesn't know. If she whenever she'll be hearing this, that's how she will know. So last year, that is 2024 November or October, I believe. It was end of October was Deepavali. So I wanted to travel to my hometown. I could not travel to my hometown because I didn't have money for fueling my car. I had to make some lame excuse कि ऐसा हो गया है, वैसा हो गया है, मैं इस बार दिवाली पे घर नहीं आ पा रहा हूँ. And I could not tell it to my mom. बहुत टेंशन में आ जाती. So and that moment, my biggest pillar of support was my wife. Most partners won't do it. I won't say everyone can do it, but some wouldn't do. I wouldn't say most. I would say some wouldn't do it. Because mortgaging your gold is an extreme step. It's something that is yours. It is for your emergency. She said to me that time कि इससे बड़ी emergency अभी क्या हो सकती है, कि जब होगा तब देखेंगे. She mortgaged all her jewelry, and that's how we were able to pay extra salaries, bonuses to our staff to make sure that their Diwali does not go bad. And I'll tell you, my admin staff, I'm talking about the ground staff, जो ground पे staff है उनकी salaries. Admin staff को दिवाली से 3 दिन पहले salary गई थी last month. And the staff was so supportive of us, they could have cribbed about us. लोग बहुत कंप्लेन करते हैं कि Gen Z जो है पैसे के लिए काम करते हैं, काम मत करो, छोड़ के चलेंगे. It's not like that. It was in that moment that we realized that we have found gold, not gold. We had diamonds with us. उनमें से एक ने भी ये नहीं बोला कि सर नहीं हो पाएगा. People came up to us, सर दिवाली है, थोड़े पैसे करा दो. तो we had to send them 5,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. Somehow जो बचा कुछ residual fumes थे वो भी कर दिए हमने. सब दे जाके 5-54 रुपए बचे थे हमारे पास अकाउंट में. So that was the toughest time I had. Over the period of that time, उसके बाद, that was the first time I cried, and I could not cry in front of my wife. अभिमन्यु के सामने मैं रोया कि यार ये दिन देखना पड़ गया, ये दिन कभी नहीं. God was very kind, but उसके बाद मुझसे बाहर भी निकाल दिया. अब तो जब भी फाउंडर से बात करते हैं तो अब जितने फाउंडर से बात करें सबके सब एक ना एक पॉइंट पे इस पे आ चुके हैं, इस पोजीशन में. इट्स एवरीबॉडी स्टोरी. कहीं ना कहीं सब इस सबसे गुजर चुके हैं. It's not a sob story, it's a part of journey.
Right. I heard somewhere that all of these, groundwork team members are on the payroll of BLYP.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yes. What do you feel, is this scalable when you reach out to other cities and try to cover the whole country? Is it going to be scalable?
We made it very clear in the very beginning that coming from services, the welfare of a man comes first. So we will make sure that everybody has PF, ESIC and all the labor law compliances, even if it costs us our salaries. उसका रीज़न क्या है कि जब आपका PF या ESIC रहता है, आपके वेलफेयर कहीं ना कहीं सरकार इंश्योर करती है. And what is the best source available is the labor laws. And we wanted ourselves to be very, very compliant. We are extremely disciplined when it comes to financial discipline, as well as all the compliances. We could have gone the gig way. We have now recently launched a gig vertical for our B2C. It is actually a B2B2C vertical, which is the BLYP app. But even in that, we have a minimum guarantee in place. If your total earning because of your commissions goes beyond a certain guarantee, then minimum guarantee will become your salary. That's how, yes, we are going to cover it. Regarding the scalability, yes, it is extremely scalable. From the B2B front, it is extremely scalable. Why? We have a proven track record of one of our competitors who has done it on a national scale, in fact, on an international scale, by bringing the staff on their payroll. But we are not just doing that, we are automating, operating and monetizing also. So the collections are done by us and then we pay our clients, so we have a surety that the money will come. So based on that revenue model, this model is extremely scalable. Sanjeev Vikchandani ka, I read it in that book, abhi The Unseen, Dipender Goyal ke bare mein jo hai. So he said कि हमारा जो model है ना कि 100% advance payment. So that is something that has helped us big time and we learned it hard way. Last year सीखने के बाद कि payout structures थोड़े वो change हो. तो हम लोगों ने payout structures change करे. We kept a buffer also कि 2 महीने का buffer होना चाहिए हमारे पास salaries का. अगर delay हुई भी तो एक point के बाद delay नहीं होनी चाहिए. Worst case scenario. But this is scalable. This is already proven by one of our competitors who has done this on an international scale, not a national scale. So this is a learning that we have taken from them. It's a proven business model that they have done it. So we have taken learning from a competitor only.
And what is the the biggest feedback any investor or your mentor ever gave you? Like, was it negative? Was it positive? And that made you actually hustle more and work harder more? Like, कुछ ऐसा feedback जो किसी ने दिया हो?
हाँ, अभी feedback मिला है अभी recently. So one of our competitors, not one of our competitors, I won't speak about them. One of our investors, Cactus Partners, उनके GP अमित हैं. He's like an elder brother to me. Whenever I am in confusion, I get lost. We are very lucky to have some investors that we can any day reach out to. And ecosystem में तो चलो founders हैं बहुत सारे. Whenever we are lost, we speak to certain guys. So I'll have to speak about Brijesh Damodaran from Oxano Capital. Yeah, whenever I'm lost, कि क्या करूँ, and I reach out to them and sometimes talk to him as a brother. Sometimes wants to also take over his view from a VC's point of view. तो अमित ने हमें हाल में ही बोला है कि you shouldn't do B2C. You should focus on B2B because B2B is building well. आप 25% MOM grow कर रहे हो, slow है but sustainable है. Focus on this. Don't get distracted to too many places. हमें ये लगता है कि if you want to grow very fast, अगर मैं growth engine पे आना है, growth तो हमारा हो रहा है और slow steady हुआ है but growth sustainable है. अगर in 6 months we should be profitable also. हमने अभी already जितने भी projects हैं सब profitable बना दिए हैं हमने already. All the projects that we have, they are already profitable. On the company level, we should be profitable in 5 to 6 months. हमारा projection ये है. अमित का कहना था कि if you get into B2C market, then it's a bloodbath because customer acquisition cost and all that. So we differed from him on this because हम वो conventional B2C model में नहीं जा रहे थे, B2B2C ही चल रहे थे. तो हम लोगों को उस पर थोड़ा सा ये feedback मिला है कि B2C मत जाओ, don't get distracted. And we have to take the learnings from them very, very seriously because that's what they have been doing since last 10, 12, 15, in their entire career. So कोई है हमारे पास शीशा दिखाने के लिए, आईना दिखाने के लिए, भैया क्या कर रहे हो ये मत करो. We are very lucky on that front.
Right. Any unexpected or funny moments at the time of launch, right, when you were doing your pilot? Anything which comes to mind you would like to share?
Okay, when I left service, I settled in Noida. So one of the biggest markets in Noida is Noida Sector 18. क्राउडेड है, बहुत पार्किंग का इशू है वहाँ पर. साथ में अट्टा मार्केट के पास में ही है, एक मार्केट पास में 18 का मार्केट है, वहाँ पे गाड़ी एकदम टो हो जाती है. प्लस दे हैव मल्टी लेवल कार पार्किंग नियर बाय देम, प्लस अ रेडिसन एंड अ डीएलएफ मॉल ऑफ इंडिया. सब कुछ एक साथ है. उसके सड़क क्रॉस कर लो तो वो गार्डन्स गैलरी और जीआईपी थे वहाँ पर. तो हमें लगा दिस कैन नॉट बी अ बेटर प्लेस फॉर कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ कार्स. ऐप बन चुका था, और ऐप लॉन्च करने से पहले व्हेन आई वाज स्टिल इन सर्विस ड्यूरिंग माय हॉलीडे वी डिड अ पायलट रन. आई, माय वाइफ अभिमन्यु एंड 2 ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स आकाश राल एंड विकास चौधरी, हम 5 लोग थे. हम लोगों ने करोल बाग में ट्रायल किया था. वी हैड एन ऐप भी नहीं था, इनफैक्ट व्हाट्सएप मैसेज था, इन विच वी स्टॉप पीपल फ्रॉम 12th नवंबर टू 26th नवंबर 2020. हाँ, तब हम लोगों ने किया था ऑन दैट डे. 12 डेज का बीच में 2 दिन दिवाली पड़ गई थी. फर्स्ट लॉकडाउन हैड जस्ट ओपन, मार्केट्स वर क्राउडेड, किसी को घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा था कोविड का उस समय. तो back in those days we stopped people were hustling to park, to find parking, we were reaching out to them, or we wore fake t-shirts of a government department, गले में नकली चाबी भी टांग के people were stopping people telling them कि सर आप यहाँ छोड़ दो, यहाँ से गाड़ी हम पार्क कर देंगे, आप यहाँ पे छोड़ गया, we will send you WhatsApp message along with the location of the car plus photos of the car once it is parked, and whenever you want your car back send us a location on WhatsApp and we will send it back to you. In those 12 days we parked 1302 cars, made a revenue of 60,000 cars. 1302 गाड़ी पार्क करी हमने 12 दिन में. दैट गेव अस अ लॉट ऑफ कन्विक्शन कि नहीं अब तो फाड़ ही देंगे हम. Guess how many cars we parked once we launched in Sector 18, once we launched our app, and we had a company. I left my service because of conviction. वो उन 12 दिन में 1302 गाड़ी. Guess करो सेक्टर 18 में कितनी पार्क करी? We parked 0 cars.
This is after the launch.
After the launch of first app. The factors that we did not look at were, first lockdown हुआ है, people were revenge traveling, revenge shopping. दिवाली का टाइम था, markets were crowded, and we were wearing trustworthy t-shirts of a fake government department जो fake t-shirts पहन रखी थी हमने. तो the trust was not coming on the WhatsApp or our face on what we were pitching. That was actually coming from the t-shirts that we were wearing. People didn't knew Parkmate back then. I still have those photographs. People didn't knew Parkmate. People didn't know Parkmate. So काट देना है, grammatical mistake. People didn't know Parkmate back then, right? तो people were not leaving their cars to them. Who is Parkmate for them? ये कौन है सड़क पे लड़के ऐसी गाड़ी मांग रहे हैं मुझसे छोड़ देंगे हम. We were doing it in the crowded market and all that. It is of December 2021. We did that, and we parked 0 cars. We hustled really.
And that too very, very close to Christmas.
अरे क्रिसमस मार्केट्स भरे पड़े हैं, थर्ड लॉकडाउन अभी आया नहीं था, आने वाला था, और यूपी में इलेक्शंस वो थे, अनाउंस थे, और आपका ईयर एंड भी आ रहा है, न्यू ईयर आ रहा है, पीपल वर शॉप, एंड देन अ ब्लैक फ्राइडे सेल हैड जस्ट एंडेड. उस टाइम पे जब हम लोगों ने पहला पायलट लॉन्च किया था, मतलब पहला ऐप मार्केट में पहली बार उतरे थे, 1 महीना हासिल करने के बाद वी पार्क्ड 0 कार्स. तो वी रियलाइज कि कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गई है, पैरों के नीचे जमीन खिसक गई. दैट्स हाउ वी डिसाइडेड कि लेट्स गो B2B. हाँ.
How did the two of you, right, the co-founders, realize that this is it and we both are going to get into this together? What was that moment? You knew Manu from from the back, or it was a new?
अभिमन्यु एंड आई, ये हमारा जो राम मिलाई जोड़ी है. So we met in Call of Duty.
The game?
So I picked up Call of Duty back in 2015. So I met Abhimanyu for the first time there, and he was based out of Ludhiana, and I was in some part of Kerala. Actually, 2015 I was part of Tamil Nadu, southern Tamil Nadu. I was posted there. So we started playing. अब उसमें 2 ही लोग थे जो एज में थोड़े बड़े थे, एक मैं और एक अभिमन्यु. बाकी सारे 17, 18, 16 साल के बच्चे थे, लड़के थे, और बहुत मैक्सिमम 19 साल के. तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ, वी हैड अ गैप ऑल्सो, वी नेवर मेट. सो 2019-20 तक आते आते हम लोग इसके वर्ल्ड टूर्नामेंट में गए, और वर्ल्ड टूर्नामेंट के जो राउंड में जो फाइनली साउथ ईस्ट एशियन नेशन के राउंड में सेलेक्ट हो गए. ही वॉज प्लेइंग इंडिविजुअली, आई वॉज प्लेइंग इंडिविजुअली. समटाइम्स वी यूज्ड टू प्ले टुगेदर, एंड समहाउ डेस्टिनी कैटेगराइज्ड अस इनटू द सेम टीम of ASEAN team, because it was said that you have to have a squad of 7. then 7 लोगों का squad होना चाहिए. Destiny got us together in one team for the Asian semi-finals, and that's how we started talking again. So I was made the captain of the team. Abhimanyu was playing very well. तो उसको एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप था एंड आई एम टेलिंग इट्स अ फनी थिंग, ऑल द गेमर्स वुड रिलेट कि पूरी भी प्रॉपर प्लानिंग होती थी. लोग गूगल मीट पे बैठते थे, मैप एनालाइज होता था, कौन कहाँ पे जाएगा, कहाँ से अटैक करेगा, कौन कहाँ पे कवर देगा, ये सब मैप होता था उसका. तो अभिमन्यु एंड आई स्टार्टेड स्पीकिंग मोर and we recalled the old times, and then we started speaking. When I was driving all the way from Andhra Pradesh to home, Abhimanyu said it's around 2000 kilometers. अकेला कहाँ तक चलेगा, दोनों भाई साथ में जाएंगे. Then he came all the way, flew all the way down to Krishnapatnam. कि वहाँ से दोनों साथ में चलेंगे.
So the destiny actually parked you together.
yeah, destiny brought us together. हम राम मिलाई जोड़ी हम तो खुद नहीं मिले, हमें तो राम ने मिलाया है, राम जी ने मिलाया है.
Right, so that's when you realize that you'll work together, or while doing the research part, right? Because you had common interests, of course, about the gaming part. We've already located that. But other than that, both of you got into the same incident together. So that was the reason initially?
That was majorly the main reason, because both of us were there together. And when we saw those guys started ganging up, na. And I'm telling you the funny part, even if you go to these markets even today, and if something like this happens, they will still gang up on you. They have the audacity to gang up on you. And I've seen this happening, that I have seen it happening. Somebody has got beaten up by the staff.
Literally the mafia.
Client. Yeah, literally. In in one area, I won't say some areas, on all the areas, but in one area I've seen. Again, a very crowded market. So, Abhimanyu, that day, decided कि यार देखो ऐसा कुछ करना पड़ेगा. And because I was the one whose car got damaged, and the amount that I had to pay was a huge amount, and I could not claim insurance of that also, because the damage was because of some sarkari thing that they had done. So my ego got hurt, Abhimanyu's ego got hurt. We got in together कि भाई करते हैं. And once the research started happening, पहले तो passive research हुई, थोड़ा सा और active हुआ, जब data का थोड़ा sense बनना शुरू हुआ, that's where both of us, it clicked to both of us together. That's the biggest thing. मुझे उसे convince नहीं करना पड़ा. इस पे तो ज़रूर आया कि भाई देख सरकारी जॉब है, PSU में है तू, और you need to have some financial backing. He had a decent financial backing also, but to take this decision is not very easy. So I did not have to do a proper convincing. We planned it properly. We did a proper planning, when to leave and what point and how much money we should have in our bank to be able to leave. कंपनी में भी लगाते हैं पैसा भी लगाते हैं, तो भी क्या एटलीस्ट बिल्स तो पे हों. He was unmarried. He got married just 1 year ago. I was married. I was planning a baby that time. So we delayed it by 2 years just because I wanted to plan another baby. Blip.
Right. So what is that one piece which each founder, brings to the table?
So in the beginning, we were trying to do anything and everything. जिसके पास जो होता है वो करते रहो. But once we gained enough traction to be able to excuse ourselves from day-to-day tasks, Abhimanyu manages the company. I look after product, I look after fundraising, and I look after the sales. Only these 3 things. The company is on the day-to-day scale managed by Abhimanyu. He heads the company, he heads the operations. Whatever happens in the company, including compliances, legal, paperwork, fundraise में investor लाने के बाद मेरा काम खत्म है. उसके बाद असली काम शुरू होता है. That is Abhimanyu's job. I have still kept finances divided between Abhimanyu and I. We both look at the finances together, because Abhimanyu has to take a lot of decisions based on the finances, and sometimes it's better that we take the decisions together after taking each other's views. अभी तक majorly the company is managed by Abhimanyu. I look after only 3 things: product, sales, and this fundraise.
So co-founder, co-founder के बारे में, anything that you admire the most but you never tell him?
I'm the bad cop, he's the good cop. I lose my temper these days easily. He is the one who calms me down. So most of the toughest negotiations that I have कि जिसमें पता है कि मैं फटूंगा, उसमें अभिमन्यु होना ज़रूरी है. Else I don't do anything. So what we have done, we have made this mistake a lot of times, and I telling it to others also. यार सारे toughest decision तुम्हारे पास उस टाइम पे पहुँचेंगे जब तुम्हारे को बहुत जल्दी होगी, या तुम कहीं जा रहे हो, तुम्हारे पास स्टाफ भी तुम्हारा कहीं बनाओ इतने टाइम में तुम्हारे ट्रेंड्स को सीख जाता है. They will come for all the important decisions, और दो decisions जिसमें तुम ना कर दोगे तो पंगा हो सकता है. At that time when you are about to leave or you are entering a call, सर इसका बता दो, इस पर डिले हो जाएगा. At the last moment, they are placed accordingly sometimes. So Abhimanyu is like he's the one who balances me out. मैं थोड़ा सा टेम्पर थोड़ा सा जल्दी लूज करता हूँ. ही इज द वन हु बैलेंसेज मी. Whenever the negotiations are going to be tough, I make him the face. भाई तू आगे चल, मैं पीछे चलता हूँ. When we have to find out कि नहीं यहाँ पे गर्म होना पड़ेगा, then I stay ahead and he stays behind me. So that's how we balance each other out.
That's like a game that you do. कि अच्छा आज पीछे से तू कवर कर, आगे से मैं कवर करता हूँ.
But disagreements होते हैं. You said that both of
अरे
you
बाल
have.
नोच लेते हैं हम. I'm not joking. हमारी ऐसे प्रॉपर हाथापाई तक ऐसा हो कि बाल नोच लेंगे, ऐसे ऐसे भी क्या बात कर रहा है, ऐसा भी हुआ है, होता है. बट व्हाट हैपेंस ना, starting a startup is like getting into a marriage.
Yeah.
There's no plan B. And without a divorce, if a divorce happens, the company is killed. You die. The company dies. I have read it somewhere. More than 80% startups in the very initial days have found a disagreement. But what we did, because हम लोग बाकी conventional founders थोड़ा सा age में mature थे, so we have a proper founders agreement in place, which lists down in a very legal language what is each other's role. अगर मैं ऑफिस लेट आ रहा हूँ तो मुझे टोक देता है. अगर वो ऑफिस किसी वजह से लेट आए तो आई आस्क हिम एंड ही इज़ वेरी वेल सपोज टू आंसर. हम दोनों एक दूसरे को करेक्ट करके रखते हैं. एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू, इट हैपन्स विद अर्ली स्टेज फाउंडर्स. हमारे में अब जिन लोगों से बात करते हैं होता है यार, देयर कम्स अ टाइम वेयर यू गेट अ लिटिल बिट कंफर्टेबल. जितना आप पहले खराब स्टेट में, उतने खराब स्टेट में नहीं हो आप. तो होता क्या है इसमें, यू बिकम अ लिटिल लेड बैक. वो लेड बैक इन जो एटीट्यूड है, दैट इज नॉट गुड फॉर द कंपनी. वी कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू बी लेड बैक. तो हम, अगर मैं लेड बैक हो रहा हूँ तो अभी मैंने मुझे गलिया देता है. अगर वो लेड बैक हो रहा है तो मैं सीईओ या वो सीईओ वाला कुछ नहीं होता. वो सब बस दरवाजे के बाहर ही लगता है बस. इट्स लाइक वी आर जस्ट को फाउंडर्स. वी आर मैरिड टू आवर वर्क एंड टू ईच अदर इन गेटिंग द वर्क डन. We have a lot of disagreements on a lot of things, but हमें पता है कुछ भी और रहना तो साथ में ही है. Yeah, it's just like marriage.
Which disagreement brought changes in the company with your co-founders? Like, any disagreement or any like तू ये मत बोल, मैं नहीं बोलता, like तू मैं sorts. वैसा क्या था ऐसा चीज़ that got so much changes in the company कि now you feel very proud कि अच्छा वो disagreement होना ज़रूरी था.
When a lot of parking contractors started approaching us, जिनसे हमारी पार्टनरशिप हुई, तो I was very bullish on that कि कर लो. तो अभिमन्यु was a little skeptical कि इतना मत कर और don't go everywhere. While I was more about कि यार जितनी maximum geography cover हो जाएंगी, capture as many smart cities possible, partner with as many people as possible, बहुत फायदा मिल जाएगा. अभिमन्यु was like कि no, we should instead of doing this consolidate in NCR alone first. We had a lot of disagreement on that. So finally I agreed to it. He did not budge. And one of us has to say, I concede. So, but I conceded to Abhimanyu, कि let's not do this, because he made a lot of sense. मैं चाहूँगा, मैं थोड़ा सा बड़बड़ा दूँगा, अरे ऐसा नहीं होगा, मैं कह रहा हूँ ऐसे होगा. But Abhimanyu is not like that. As I told him that he is more calm. He's a calmer guy.
Yeah, you're the bad guy.
He's the bad guy. He's a good guy. So he spoke with a lot of reasonable reasons. Like अगर होता बैठा हुआ तो अभी हाथ का 4 reason बोल चुका होता वो. He wouldn't miss this chance. He would say that the money that you have, if you spend it in burning, because every time you expand to a new geography, you have to spend something. It'll take some time for recovery, and every city is very different. Every contractor is different. Then the agreements in place were not that strong at that point of time. हम उतना seriously ले भी नहीं रहे थे. And again, as a learning for every founder, company form होते ही सबसे पहले the things that you should do whenever you form a company is get a good legal guy. Second, a good finance guy. Your CA or the finance team and the legal team should be very good. आपको लगेगा कि मैं legal की मुझे ज़रूरत नहीं है, but it will bite you back somewhere at a time than you expected the least. So Abhimanyu made us not do this and consolidate more on the Delhi NCR's contractors or partnership across Delhi NCR. इसको discipline करके और इसको अपने आप में प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी की तरफ लेके जाकर फिर उसके बाद एक्सपेंशन की सोचें. आई वॉज मोर ऑन यानी ग्रो करो. मैंने बोला कि अगर लेट से रनवे कम होता है, अरे तो अट्रैक्शन भी तो बढ़ेगा, ये भी तो सोच. बट इसे अट्रैक्शन की मत सोच, तो रनवे की सोच. इस रनवे में वी हैव टू थिंक मोर आउट ऑफ बॉक्स. अदर वी कैन डू द कन्वेंशनल थिंग्स और बी अ लिटिल मोर कन्वेंशनल थिंक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स. इसी रनवे में कैसे काम कर सकते हैं. तो आई थिंक दैट इज वन डिसीजन दैट आई रियली थिंक I'm very happy that I did not listen to my heart That is why in data start, when I say data we trust, it's Abhimanyu's data we trust.
Got it. Let's talk about the name change now, right? How did we know about how or what BLYP means after this conversation? But what exactly came to your mind? Why the name change? Let's talk about that.
Okay, we were thinking of our brand name change from after the first year of completion of our services, of our operations. The main reason for that is a lot of park companies had come in the market. So when we started the businesses, people started confusing us with some other company's name. कुछ जगह फायदा था, नुकसान ज़्यादा हो रहा था, क्योंकि sometimes the operations team or the procurement team was getting confused in the quotations, though, because there are a lot of park companies. There's a Park In, there's a Park Ease, there's a Park Quick, there's a Park Easy, there's a Secure Park, there's a Park and Secure, then there's a Parking Boss, then there's a Park Plus, there's a Park Minus. पता नहीं इतने सारे Park Plus companies आ रहे हैं. Get My Parking, very good guys, Chirag, I have to say, but we were getting lost in the translation. We wanted our name, and we eventually had to come up with an app. An app with the name Parkmate sounded very corporatish. So we wanted to have a more novel name, something that does not sound like a generic parking company.
Like a Gen Z name?
Something that that's got a larger recall value, and we wanted our end game is something else. Our end game, when we started, our end game as a company is the day our services are integrated with your car's infotainment systems, with your AIs like Siris or the Geminis and all that, or the Bixby's, and you say, "Hey Siri, for example now, blip me to Starbucks Connaught Place, A block." So blip does not rhyme with any similar word.
Yeah.
So in order to make any other word, we couldn't think of any other word to sound with blip, maybe a clip. But while driving, you wouldn't say to Siri, clip me to Connaught Place. So blip also ticked all the right boxes, and we gave it a lot of thought. We did a proper scientific research behind it. We have thought of more than 1,000 names. We have still written those names with us. We still have that Excel sheet with us. ये कर सकते हैं, वो कर सकते हैं, सब कर सकते हैं. But both of us, blip stuck with us more. It meant quick. It had a reasonable meaning, and the brand name had to change because it had to have the app must have had a more novel name, with easy recall value, something that is Gen Z. So that's where the rename happened, the rebranding happened. And luckily, we were not very well established when we did our rebranding, so we could afford to take the risk. Once you are well established, that's where a Bira 91 happens.
So, rebrand ke time pe, do you think like did you have a doubt wherein you thought कि यार ये लोग अब ये समझेंगे भी कि नहीं समझेंगे BLYP?
This fear is still there. हमें तो अभी भी डर है कि लोग समझेंगे कि नहीं समझेंगे. But we have a conviction. Luckily, we have got a decent traction from market. Recently, we had a good opportunity of featuring on a TV show also. Idea Buzz, we featured there. We have got a good acceptance from market. We have a strong conviction, but डर तो है देखो. Either I can sit here and बड़ा चौड़ में बोल दूँ कि अरे सब जीत लेंगे, क्रांति ला देंगे हम लोग. But no, it's not that easy to say. The truth is, we still have the fear. What if people don't understand it? What if people who use it maybe like it for the first 2 times, maybe when we scale तब लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया? What then? So the fear and the paranoia is still there. But if you don't have the paranoia, there's something wrong with us.
Was there any part of Parkmate which you had to let go of for BLYP to grow? Like, was there any challenge during this phase?
Yes. Like I said that we were tracking our competitors. We were tracking what they were doing in the certain spaces. So there was one competition which was doing a lot of things related to car. So we got this thing that you have to do everything possible for car, be it for insurance and all that. And it was too premature for us, technically. So we created a long-term perspective plan. We call it LTPP, long-term perspective plan. इस year के इस month तक हमें ये करना है, इस month के तक ये करना है. So in that long-term perspective plan, there was a plan of launching in residential sites also, because the competition had done it. And होता क्या है कि न उनका नाम लेंगे तो सब लोग उनको जानते थे, because it was at their residential gate. It was a daily thing you could see. They have their reasons why they did it, but for us to replicate it, we didn't have enough money, and the use case was yet to be proven. on the economics first. So that's where we decided we have to pull a plug on them. We decided we will not do what they are doing. We have some other policies also which might be a little controversial to say, but like we have a strict company policy that we do not hire from IITs or IIMs.
Why is that?
We believe as a company, I can be wrong, but it's our belief, is that IITs and IIM guys have more opportunities already at their hand. We should give more opportunities to guys from tier 2 and tier 3 towns and from these private college schools and the not so pedigree colleges who have lesser opportunities, because the best of our guys like Arjun, I would say my previous CDO Arjun, he was still in his 12th class when he joined us, and he was a magician. He is a magician. He has gone for his higher studies, and it was very unethical if we stopped him at this time. So I don't forget to take his name. Neeraj is again from not a proper so-called, our current CTO is not from those pedigree colleges, but his performance has been great. The guys that we have in college, they are majorly from colleges and universities that you might not have heard of, but they are performing really well. Like I said, we are proud to tell that we have the best valet app in the world, not in the country. So the app which is still in use in most of the malls or most of the smart cities is actually developed by those guys who are not from the pedigree. And we have nothing against pedigree founders. It's not like that. We respect. I've had the opportunity of working with the guys from IIT while I was in serving, and I have nothing but great respect for them.
So what's that one spend that it feels risky back then, like it felt risky back then, but it feels so great now कि अच्छा ये शुक्र है मैंने वहाँ पे पैसे लगाए थे.
That was its answer is very clear to us. हम लोगों को पता है कि at that point of time when we made this opportunity, we didn't have the investment also. We didn't have enough money. So we got this opportunity of doing a pilot project for Lucknow's smart city, like I've discussed. And that project required, because that was the first thing that we got was a pilot project. So पैसा सब हमें ही लगाना था. And that was such a big opportunity for us to showcase what we have built, what we had done so far. So either we could have said कि पैसा नहीं है मना कर दें. So we borrowed money from anyone and everyone possible, and we did that project. That spend is of around 36 lakh rupees, which was it's still a very big amount for us. But that time तो it was a way bigger amount. मैं तो करोड़ों के बराबर था हमारे उस टाइम पे, क्योंकि सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के हम लोगों ने करा था. But that investment paid us and has made us.
Out of the investors, what would you say the most brutal feedback which you have got over your journey, right, in the past 2 to 3 years?
It was not a feedback. It was not technically feedback. It was a learning. They were very generous not to say it on our face. हमारा लास्ट जो हमने फर्स्ट VC राउंड, इससे पहले एंजल इन्वेस्टर से राउंड रेस करे थे हमने 2, तो फर्स्ट VC राउंड हमारा लास्ट ईयर हुआ. तो जब उसके लिए ड्यू डिलीजेंस पे उड़े पे जब गए, तो ड्यू डिलीजेंस लेने के लिए अमंग जो बेस्ट गाइज हैं जैसे BDO एंड देन कैम, दे आर लाइक द बिगेस्ट नेम्स ऑफ द कंट्री, उन्होंने पहला IRL भेजा जो लिस्ट आया बन के, और लिस्ट में मेरे को अब तक याद है 172 इकोनॉमिक, मतलब आपके फाइनेंशियल डॉक्यूमेंट से 172 में से 150 भी नहीं थे हमारे पास. 150 थे ही नहीं, नाम ही नहीं सुना था हमने. हमारे पास हमारा एक अकाउंट्स गया था. वी हैड अ CA, नॉर्मली ही वाज डन यूज्ड फॉर ओनली डूइंग द ऑडिट्स एंड ऑल दैट, जो बेसिक चीज़ें उसी के लिए यूज़ होता था. तो हमें ऑडिट जो महीने आपका 2 महीने में ऑडिट खत्म होना चाहिए, तो सब 5 महीने लगे. दैट इज़ वॉट लैंडेड मी इन दैट 54 रुपी प्रॉब्लम. हमारा इन्वेस्टमेंट पहले कंप्लीट होना चाहिए था, इन्वेस्टमेंट में 5 महीने लगे हमारा. सो द लॉस ऑफ 5 months व्हेन यू आर इन अ B2B स्पेस. So that was a learning that we have to get our things right. That due diligence has actually taken us at least 2 years ahead of what we were. That 5 months of due diligence, the documents that we prepared for the due diligence and all that, and the learnings that we got by dealing with companies like CAM or with BDO. So that's what gave us the learning. So that was not something that was spoken on our face by investor. क्या कर रखा है तुमने यार, ये क्या है तुम्हारे पास, यही नहीं है. बेसिक चीज़ें, सब चीज़ें अभी पता चलता है दैट दोज आर बेसिक्स फॉर अ कंपनी. जो बेसिक कंप्लायंस होते हैं, जो स्टार्टअप इंडिया के कंप्लायंस है, वो सब पूरे करते हैं. बट इफ़ यू वांट टू रियली स्केल, यू हैव टू हैव सर्टेन डॉक्यूमेंट्स इन प्लेस, सर्टेन पॉलिसीज इन प्लेस. उससे पहले सब भाईबंदी में काम चल रहा था, इसको वो बोल दिया, 2 मेल कर दिया, हो गया काम. बट दैट एक्चुअली ब्रॉट अस एटलीस्ट 2 years ahead. The discipline that got instilled because of that due diligence. तो इस बार ड्यू डिलीजेंस में तो 15 दिन लगे. because the documents were ready with us. They just had to verify it. So that is a learning that they were very kind to not say on our face, but they were like, यार तुम्हारा जो फंडिंग था यार 2 महीने में खत्म होना था, 5वां महीना आ गया यार, क्या कर रहे हो यार, जल्दी खत्म करो. This was told to us by them.
Did it get any chaos, or did it get any tiffs between you, your co-founder, when all these things were happening? कि यार तू देख लेता, मतलब तेरे को देखना चाहिए था ये चीज़, तेरे पास क्यों नहीं था ये मैं कैसे लेके आऊँ, कुछ ऐसा, you know, did you have such conversations?
अरे बहुत बार हो. फाइनेंस में तो एक दूसरे पे पॉइंटिंग फिंगर से तेरी जिम्मेदारी थी, तुझे करना चाहिए था. बट either we could have stayed in that place, put a blame on each other, or get to the work and get the issue resolved. तो हम लोगों ने ये पॉलिसी बना रखी है, हम दोनों ही सिमिलर हैं इस चीज़ में. प्रॉब्लम पकड़ के रोने का हमारे पास लिबर्टी ही नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम आ चुकी है, इसका सॉल्यूशन ढूंढो. Like Vartikka, I was reaching out to you, I was talking to you about how maybe we can leverage your network in building our company. That's how we have been. We are facing this problem. It's a challenge. In this podcast, I think I need to bring this out because a lot of D2C founders will be trying today. We are also trying to build a brand. Building a brand is tough and requires a lot of money. Either you can go the conventional way, burn money, customer acquisition cost, Facebook, Meta advertisements, run on all that, or you can think of certain out of the box ways which have been proven in the past, जो आपको बहुत बड़ा एक तरीके से customer awareness create कर सकती है. Some of them are controversial, but they're good learnings. ठीक है. So हम लोगों की यही पॉलिसी है, प्रॉब्लम पकड़ के रोना धोना नहीं. हाँ, पॉइंटिंग फिंगर्स तो अभी भी होती है. 2 दिन पहले तो लड़ रहे थे हम लोग किसी बात पे. 2 दिन पहले लड़ रहे थे अभिमन्यु और मैं सेम बात पे. So it happens a lot. And whosoever says नहीं, we founders are like we are the best buddies. Yes, we are the best buddies. But हमारे बीच में बहुत लड़ाई होती है. बहुत चीज़ों में disagreements होते हैं. But it normally prevails. We always prevail. One of us, it's the duty of the other side to convince the other side. तो अगर उसने convince कर लिया, अगर हम दोनों agree नहीं हो तो काम नहीं होता. We don't do that. If both of us have not agreed onto one thing, we don't do that. I personally as a CEO, I have tried to exercise my thing. I have said ये होगा, and he would normally says ये ठीक है, तुझे लग रहा है ठीक है, तो मान लेता हूँ कि ठीक ही होगा. He has been very kind on that front. But जब मुझे पता चल जाता है कि नहीं अभिमन्यु एक्चुअली कन्विंस नहीं हो, बस हाँ में हाँ मिला दी है, then I also make sure that I don't do that. I have done a task in the previous past और मुँह की खानी पड़ी. So I trust his judgment.
So like, do you think you know, there are people, for example, if let's say that you and Abhimanyu, you both take a decision together, but then there's a third or a fourth person, let's say an investor or your mentor or anyone, influencing you in a way that nahi, matlab, you both are not thinking in the right direction. I will tell you what, I can tell you what to do, but then you again have conflicts. Like, let's say that you and Abhimanyu, you don't, like, you both are not on the same lines, saying कि नहीं मेरे को इसकी बात अच्छी लग रही है, and the other one says that नहीं मुझे ये नहीं करना, or probably he just says okay, do whatever you want to. So in such situations, do you listen to your mentor, your investor, because you know that he's the person actually giving you the funds in, or do you listen to Abhimanyu in that case? Like, how do you deal with it?
Look, there are two perspectives to see it. Then I'll give you what we do. It can be right or wrong, but it has proven to be right for us. You should always listen to your mentors. I'm not saying do what your mentors say. You should always listen to your mentors and take their view seriously. Not because they have poured money in this. आपके लिए आपको लग रहा है कि यार उसने मुझे को $2 million दिया है, $1.25 million दिया है, वो इसलिए मेरे लिए ऐसा बोल रहा है. It's all the more reason that he would be thinking from your welfare, for your welfare. उसको अपना पैसा बचाना है. उसका मोटिवेशन सिर्फ आपका गुडविल नहीं, उसका अपना पैसा बचाना कंपनी का गुडविल के लिए ही सोच रहा है. पहली बात तो इट्स एन इकोनॉमिक मोटिवेशन ऑल्सो, बट डोंट थिंक इट फ्रॉम जस्ट दैट पर्सपेक्टिव. ये तो मैं आपको एक रैशनल थिंकिंग बताइए कि रैशनल थिंकिंग यही है कि इसका सही पर्सपेक्टिव है. इफ़ यू हैव अ मेंटर फ्रॉम द स्पेस हु इज टेलिंग यू समथिंग, ऑलवेज लिसन टू इट, बिकॉज दैट इफ यू हैव टेकन समबडी एज मेंटर तो उसके रीजन होगा, वो एस्टैब्लिश होगा, सिमिलर स्पेस में होगा, एक्सपीरियंस होगा. He is your mentor because you have chosen him as a mentor, because you trust him to guide you when you're lost. When you're not asking for a feedback and he's still giving you a feedback, यार तुम गलत कर रहे हो, that means something must have tickled some note somewhere कि उसको लगा भाई ये तुम बहुत बड़ी गलती करने वाले, मुगी खाओगे. एंड इट हैज़ हैपेंड. जो 2 दिन पहले मैं आपसे बोल रहा हूँ, अभिमन्यु मेरे बीच में यही हुआ था. We were given a feedback by one of our mentors, who's also an investor in the company, कि B2C में जो तुम so called influencers लाके जो तुम budget allocate कर रहे हो, ये तरीके से मत करो. In fact, somebody suggested us to on our previous expense also on some awareness campaign कि मत करना. अभिमन्यु said कि भाई कर लेते हैं. But I have already made that mistake previously. I said, Abhimanyu, ये नहीं करते, रुक जाओ. Abhimanyu said, eventually I convinced him, होगा तू मैं हुई कि भाई देख ऐसा नहीं होता, फाउंडर हम चला रहे कंपनी को, उससे पैसा लगाया है. But if you see from the second perspective, that amount that he or she has invested is peanuts for him. For those investors, because their fund size is so big that maybe 10 crore rupees or 20 crore rupees, it's still a big amount for that from country's perspective, but for that investor's fund, it must be just 2%, 5% of his fund. He can easily write off this and still go to sleep. We had got an acquisition offer recently. Abhimanyu and I, we disagreed. Again, we went to one of our investor come mentor. We agreed to what our mentor told us to do. Mentor very clearly said to me, I can sleep at peace by writing off this money rather than taking a return what the incoming investor is offering. That is the time where the investor is speaking. Not the mentor. The mentor who's also not an investor, if they are actually, then you should always listen to your gut. Give your consideration, think about it, because at the end of the day, it's you who will have to bear the burden. It's at the end of the day, your family will be managed by your company, by the money that's being brought by a company. आपका एक गलत decision can cost you days, months, maybe capital, and it can kill your company. You cannot afford to make mistakes. तो आपको तो सभी के views सुनने हैं. करना वही है जो आपका मन में आता है. But उसमें, like I said, we have a very clear thing, understanding. Unless you and I, we both agree to it. Unless we don't agree, we won't do it. Both of us have to be on the same page. Both of us have to agree. And one of my balancing act, and which balances Abhimanyu and me both, is my wife, Saloni. My wife Saloni, who's also a CXO, who's been working with us for more than a year. She understands the finance very well. She is from business building, so family. So she understands multiple business, how businesses are built. Abhimanyu और मैं founder हैं. हमें तो लगता है बस यार innovation, product, sale. But वो ऐसी understanding लेके आती है जो हम दोनों को ऐसी चीज़ दिखा देती है जो हम दोनों को नहीं दिख रही. So like recently when we had a disagreement, she is the one who brought in the third perspective, because वो देख रही है हम लोगों की लाइफ में क्या हो रहा है. She lives it every day. जो भी आपको बोलता है ना पर्सनल लाइफ और वर्क लाइफ अलग अलग है, इट्स ऑल बुलशिट, बकवास है. If you are not sorted at your home, you are not sorted at your work. If you are not sorted at your work, you cannot be sorted at your home. So ये किताबों में बोलने के लिए, स्पीचेज में बोलने के लिए, टेड पे बोलने के लिए बड़ा अच्छा होता है. पर्सनल लाइफ और वर्क लाइफ एटलीस्ट इंडिया में तो, स्पेशली इफ यू आर डूइंग इन स्टार्टअप, नहीं होता. इट इज अमेलगमेटेड, दोनों मिले हुए हैं. ठीक है. Saloni brought a very different perspective to that acquisition thing. It was very heartful perspective, but it made sense to us. कि यार देखो, that mentor जो भी नाम है उनका, my mentor was telling me कि भाई देखो ये acquisition सही नहीं है तुम्हारे लिए. You might make some quick bucks, थोड़ा सा पैसा भी आएगा, but तुम लोग 4 साल से क्या तुम लोग इसलिए घिस रहे थे कि तुम इसको इतने कुछ करोड़ में बेच के निकल जाओ. And Saloni was the one who bought in this thing. कि यार what he was telling was absolutely right. He is your well-wisher. So all the more reason, even if he gets the same money he has invested, he gets some return on this, and that return is, let's say, not good enough for him, it's still in your favor. It is, take it as a call to be more open to building bigger rather than going for the acquisition and maybe live a more comfortable life.
That's true.
So perspectives can come from everybody, but at the end of the day, Abhimanyu and I decided, we took a call कि हम इस acquisition के लिए नहीं जाएंगे, and we had to say no, that we cannot go ahead.
So you're raising currently, you have raised in the past, right? How do you handle rejections? I'm sure there were few rejections.
Very few, yes. Actually, you have to rephrase your question. Mostly no. Very few, yes.
How do you handle them? It'll be, great, and do share it with the other founders.
यार अब 4 साल हो गए हैं इस इंडस्ट्री में, रेस करते हो 4 साल हो गए हैं, इतना रिजेक्शन झेल लिया है ना, ठीक है. यू एंड आई टेल यू टू ऑल द fellow founders, and it was told to me by one of my senior founder, you just need one yes. 100 no's will not make any difference. That one yes will make a difference. Look for that one yes. और हर पिच ऐसे देना कि यही तुम्हारा yes है, इसको तुम्हें कोई yes में कन्वर्ट करना है. And I will be very true. यार every time somebody says no, यार आपका मोरल गिरता है. The larger the no's, your morale goes further down. Recently, while I was raising, I've been through more than 70 no's, and finally I got a yes. ठीक है, but yes तब तक नहीं होता तब पैसा अकाउंट में ना आ जाए. तो I would still consider it a no only. Due diligence, ये सब आप कितने disciplined हो, a lot of things can go wrong. Like Murphy's law, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. So you have to factor in that कि लास्ट में जब तक पैसा नहीं आएगा तब तक नहीं आएगा, तब तक नो ही है. दिस वॉज अगेन अ पर्सपेक्टिव बाय सलोनी. टिल यू डोंट हैव मनी इन योर बैंक एंड यू कंप्लीट योर CS फॉर्मेलिटीज, कंसिडर इट अ नो. तो लास्ट टाइम भी जब हमारी फंडिंग हुई, फंडिंग के बाद जब तक CS फॉर्मेलिटीज नहीं निपट गए तब तक हमने इसका PR भी रोक के रखा था कि PR भी नहीं होने देना, इसका खबर को बिल्कुल बंद रखना है. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव लर्नड. दीज आर द पर्सपेक्टिव्स ब्रॉट टू अस बाय एन आउटसाइडर टेक्निकली. सो दैट आंसर्स 2 क्वेश्चंस एक्चुअली. You just need one yes. We handle this rejection by being thick-skinned. भाई ये तो होना ही है. 4 साल में इतनी आदत पड़ चुकी है रिजेक्शन झेलने की, अब नहीं लगता बुरा. थोड़ा सा देखो मोरल डाउन होता है, but it makes us think कि भाई क्या गड़बड़ हुआ. Now when we go to an investor, we do a research first. For like in my perspective, in my view, if I go to let's say Matrix Partners or to Advantage, आई डू माई रिसर्च कि इन कौन से सेक्टर्स में इन्वेस्टमेंट है, क्या है. पहले हम लोग सबको शूट कर रहे थे, किसी को भी यू अननेसेसरी गोइंग टू समबडीज एंटी पोर्टफोलियो. वी हैव अप्रोच्ड एवरीबडी ऑन लिंक्डइन ऑल्सो, पॉसिबल अपनी तरफ से करते हैं. पहले ये करा हुआ हमने, बट अभी नहीं करते ऐसा. सो विद टाइम वी हैव गॉट वाइजर कि जैसे एडवांटेज पे हमने रिसर्च किया, मोबिलिटी सेक्टर में एक बड़ा VC एडवांटेज दिखता है, बट वी नो दैट दे आर एन इन्वेस्टर इन अ कॉम्पिटिटर. इट्स अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. वी कैनॉट अप्रोच दिस VC. Even after doing all our research, now we have actually formed a thesis on which all can say yes, on whose thesis do we meet, किसका कितना % चांस है कि अगर हम इससे एक्चुअली डेप्थ पे गए तो कर सकते हैं, या फिर हमें बिजनेस में कुछ चेंज करने की ज़रूरत है, या पिच डेक में चेंज करने की ज़रूरत है कि पिच डेक में कोई मैसेजिंग सही नहीं आ गई है. Luckily we have been very lucky to find a few VCs. I will have to give it to Vipul Rawal from Gamba Capital. He was brutally honest to us. Now most VCs don't give you a feedback, but Vipul gave us a proper feedback on our pitch deck कि तुम्हारे, क्योंकि we came up with a new pitch deck with the new numbers, everything. तो initially जब उनसे बात हुई तो he gave me a feedback. Love you Vipul Rawal for this, for the help that you have done. But so we got this feedback on a pitch deck कि ये message clear नहीं हो रहा. It is more like a sales pitch rather than a pitch than a fundraise pitch. बहुत सारे उसके उनके feedback थे. I wrote down everything. And I've changed that, and that has helped us in our fundraise big time. So ऐसे हमें 2 VCs मिले हैं. So we were very lucky in this ring. Rejections पे मोरल थोड़ा सा डाउन होता है, but उतना भी डाउन नहीं होता, थोड़े से थिक स्किन्ड हो गए हैं. हर पिच को हम लोग बिकॉज ऑफ रिसर्च करके देते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली हमारे एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं कि सर यहाँ पे हाँ आएगा. बट नाउ द VCs have changed, evolved over time. They don't take so much to say yes and to say no. And yes, this is one thing that we personally have taken it seriously, and we write it to all the VCs जो respond नहीं करते. वो पढ़ते नहीं पढ़ते उनके ऊपर है. हाँ, बट हम भेजते सबको. अगर रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आता तो a late yes and a early no. A early no is always better. An early no is always better than a late yes. So that's what we tell to all the VCs. We request at least an update.
This year, Idea Buzz happened, right? How did it happen, and how is it different from the usual investment journey?
Idea Buzz happened through, we applied for Idea Buzz, we saw the advertisements, and we have appeared on Shark Tank also, by the way. We have shot on Shark Tank also. Season 3 Gateway episode, we shot our pitch there. We had some disagreement with one of the shark. We got an offer, but we denied the offer. Unfortunately, that pitch did not air. So we tried another shot at Idea Buzz when we came to know that Idea Buzz is coming on show, and we heard from somewhere that VCs are coming on as titans, as the judges, rather than founders themselves. So we applied for that. It had its own filters. Based on those filters, we got through the process. We had a pitch, we had a trial, we did passed through 3 stages. Then we had a pitch, we got selected. We were called to Mumbai for the shoot. We shot there. The experience was like absolutely different from Shark Tank's episode. Shark Tank shoot was very different from Idea Baz's shoot. Idea Baz was more founder friendly than Shark Tank. I won't say that Shark Tank is not founder friendly, but was way more than founder friendly. Later on, I found that there was no belittling of founders. Nobody was rebuking founders. People were giving honest feedback, but they were making sure that it does not actually belittle you in any way. I have seen businesses die because they were belittled on a television show. Founders' lives get destroyed because somebody belittled them on a show. Idea Buzz does not do it. Then Pratik Gandhi is a part of Idea Buzz. VCs were sitting. The questions were very different. Negotiation on valuation did not happen because a lot of negotiation happened on our Shark Tank episode. When we told them that we already have a commitment from a VC for a certain valuation, so one of the sharks did not agree to that, and whatever happened there. But in Idea Buzz, when we pitched that we have a term sheet from an investor, an institutional investor on this valuation, they did not ask even one more question. Some would say कि यार ये तो बेवकूफ़ी है, but they are not focused on TRP, they are focused on building founders' businesses. So that's a big difference in their ideology that we saw. और उसका पैसा हम लोग वहाँ से निकले हैं और वहाँ से एपिसोड शूट हो गया है. The show had not aired by then. जब शूट होता है, the process had started the next day. Due diligence, मतलब निकले हैं, अगले दिन email आया था कि when the investor like Mr. Sandesh Sarda invested in us, then we are very lucky. That's again a differentiation. Mr. Anupam Bansal also joined us for investment. He is also invested in us. And luckily, Anupam sir had used our services, the owner of Liberty Group. He had used our services in certain malls and had already seen our episode on our app also. He denied us investment on the TV show, but he gave it a thought after the show because you cannot sometimes take an investment call just by one pitch in, let's say, 1 hour. But he must have given it a thought. He called us to his office. We pitched to him again. He asked us in-depth questions on our business, and he also has committed us. So he also committed a particular investment that I cannot divulge right now, obviously for certain reasons. But Mr. Sarda has been with us from the second day of shoot. He has been in constant touch with us. He's evaluating business. He's giving us ideas. He's working with us day in, day out. So that's the difference that we have. The Titan on the TV show that joined us is working with us every day. I mean, there's a call that we get from Mr. Sandesh Sarda every day, and he's based out of US. मुझे पता है कि मैं घर जाऊंगा, मेरे पास 8:30-9 बजे के आसपास सर का फोन आ जाएगा, मैसेज तो आ जाएगा. मेरी आज सर से बात होनी है. I have to give him an update on everything. He is taking a Q on every day. So this is a very big difference. That is, there's no passive investment happening. There's a very active investor with me who's invested in my business.
Like, I had a question on this, that for example, I just want to know that does investment, airing on television, is like, should that happen with founders, like you being a founder? Like, do you want to discuss a lot about your business, a lot about what your thoughts are for the investors on television? Or do you think the safest or the most easiest way or the most conserved way is doing it in a 4x4 room, just sitting there in a conference room and just sitting there and talking to the investors directly without being aired online? What do you think should happen, with investors? Like, do you think this is the right way, or do you think this is just for the show, or do you think this is just, you want more clarity or more feedback on television, or you want more clarity and more feedback in the room, like, in a closed environment, closed room, where no third party or a third person is watching you?
Okay, Vartikka, so what you see on the television is a very filtered version of it. तो डिस्कशन आप यही मान के चलते हो, टीवी पे जो डिस्कशन हो रहे हैं वो एक तरीके से क्लोज हो रही हैं, बिकॉज दैट्स नॉट लाइव. और वो आप 1.5 घंटा, फॉर एग्जांपल शार्क टाइम में 1.5-2 घंटा था या 1 घंटे के आसपास होगा, 1-1.5 घंटा. तो अगर वो एयर होता है 10-12 मिनट का होता. सेम हैपेंड ऑन आइडिया बाज. इट केम सम 13 मिनट्स पिच out of this 1.5 hours that I spent in that show. So the questions are asked on anything and everything. But decision of investment is not ever given on a television show कि decision दे देगा तो investment होगा. There will be follow-on discussions also. The due diligence started from the next day. And the investor kept in touch with us, asking about our business, numbers, everything, even after that. So if the claims that I had made and they were not right, the investment would not happen. We know a lot of founders who have made claims who, from what I know, from whatever limited knowledge I have, not even 50% of the commitments on Shark Tank actually go through. They don't happen. In fact, the number is way higher. That is majorly because of due diligence and maybe the investor changes mind. It's investor's call. Just because I've committed you an investment on television show does not warrant कि investment आएगा ही आएगा. The lot can go wrong, a lot can happen. यही same चीज 4 walls में भी होता है. 4 walls में बस ये फर्क है कि the questions are very different. वो questions आपको टीवी शो पे उतना दिखाया नहीं जाता because that's not TRP friendly. When I say TRP, अगर आप एक घर पे बैठी आंटी को, जो मतलब मैम है, कोई मिडिल एज लेडी है, मिडिल एज आदमी है जो शायद बैंक में काम करते हैं, या फिर किसी टीचर जो है टीचर हैं, आप उनको इतना टेक्निकल सवाल जवाब पहुंचाओगे ना, उनको समझाना बहुत मुश्किल पड़ जाएगा. वो 12-13 मिनट में पिच समझ में नहीं आएगी. सो दे गिव यू द फिल्टर्ड टोन डाउन वर्जन ऑफ द पिच ऑन टेलीविजन शो. सवाल जवाब उसके बाद भी हुए, क्लोज डोर मीटिंग उसके बाद भी, अनुपम बंसल जी के साथ अगेन मेरी क्लोज डोर मीटिंग, उसके बाद भी संदेश जी से मेरी रेगुलर कॉल पर बात रही. तो आई पर्सनली वुड प्रेफर टू बी ऑन टेलीविजन. वाई? अब थिंक अबाउट इट. आपको 11 या 20 सेकंड का एडवर्टीजमेंट दिखाना है नेशनल टीवी पे, आपको महीने में 30 बार चलाना है. It is costing you lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Then you come on a national television show on prime time. For next 15 minutes, 12 minutes, you speak only about your product and your journey. What is better? Plus you get a commitment also. See, what is better? The added benefit of pitching on a television show is that people get to know your story. People get to. It's a paid PR where you are being paid to do your PR. And what I've seen that I think Shark Tank does not allow usage of its logo and its name with the founders. Then a lot of pages have been blocked, a lot of things. We keep hearing about this on social media. But Ideabuzz allow you. You can use their name, you can use their logo wherever you want. They allow you all sort of PR to be done. जो भी करना है करो. It helps them also. So that's the difference again here.
So, hustle का lowest point in your journey क्या रहा है अभी तक?
Was last year जो मैंने आपको 54 rupees वाला बनाया. That day I cried. That when that happened, I was broken that time. I was broke literally and figuratively. ठीक है. तो उस point पे मतलब I and Abhimanyu we hugged and cried. I and Saloni also cried because money gives you confidence. कोई कुछ भी कह ले, सच यही है. आपके अकाउंट में पैसे होंगे तब वो कॉन्फिडेंस रहता है अलग. एंड कमिंग फ्रॉम दैट करियर, जहाँ पे मुझे पता था कि 1 तारीख को मेरे अकाउंट में एक पर्टिकुलर अच्छा अमाउंट जो खर्च भी नहीं होता था, क्योंकि सरकार इतनी फैसिलिटीज देती थी. द गवर्नमेंट एंड आर्म फोर्सेस ट्रीट देयर पीपल टू द utmost of the welfare. They give you so many perks like food is free, everything is there. In fact, I sometimes used to get paid more when I was on leave rather than I working because you are not eating government ration also sometimes. तो उस पर भी कई बार अलाउंसेस मिलते हैं. I mean, there was a lot happening there. And then was that day at an age of around 36 with 54 in my account, no savings, all the emergency funds invested. The last emergency was gold. That is also gone and under a mortgage, though that came out later on. And that broke me. And I have no qualms in mentioning on a podcast here, for a man, I'm a man at the end, not just human, but as a man, when you see your wife mortgaging her assets, her jewelry, her gold to support your dream, as a man, it eats you from inside. I never felt more handicapped, helpless, like I'm underwater, can't breathe in that moment. And the worst part was I couldn't say कि सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा at that point पे. She did it for me, for us as a company, and I'm eternally thankful to her. I couldn't be more thankful to God for the kind of wife I have given. So that was my lowest point, when I saw my wife mortgaging her gold in order to fund our company. That has been so far.
Was there any competition जिसको you take it as, either you have to beat them or they have to beat you in order to keep going on in the market?
No, we don't ever see. We personally don't see as any competition to be beaten. We want more companies, and we urge more companies to come into the market and do way better than work than we do. That will actually push us to do better. And we wish all the best to all our competitors. We really wish them to do better and better. We need India as a country need more competitors, more people in the parking space, in smart parking space especially. More startups must come up, and we will be happy to share insights of our learnings if somebody is interested into getting into the market. Our team does take it for granted that इसको हराना है, उसको हराना है, इसके बंदे को नहीं आने देना इस प्रॉपर्टी में, इसको इस कंपनी को तो बिल्कुल नहीं आने देना, and that's good for us. I will not name anybody, but हाँ मेरी टीम के अंदर मेंबर्स को जरूर लगता है कि यार इस बंदे को नहीं जीतने देना. Some players are okay, some bargain, but certain players they are इसको तो बिल्कुल नहीं जीतने देना, and we are fine with it.
I think it is okay for you as a founder to not, to encourage all your competitors also to do better. But I think it's a win-win situation, for you, for your team, wherein your team, I mean, you can see that your team is supporting you in ways. They want you to grow. They want, you would want them to grow with you as a team in future. And, because, I think it is very important for founders to realize that the growth of every employee or every team member should not be stopped, right? I think eventually in later days, they usually forget that. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Some founders, they just run. They just take themselves and, run towards the end goal without taking the team with them. So I've seen such companies, I've seen such brands, and what are your thoughts on that? Like, how would you do it? And, if you see some company doing it or a brand doing it, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, that will also be clubbed with the previous question also a little bit. There's a learning there for us. We have seen in the past that our competitors have tried to poach the best resources that we have multiple times. We have a strict policy that we do not hire from the two competitors that I was speaking about. We don't hire anybody from them. We have a strict policy. If you have left that company and you have a gap of around 2 years or more, then only we consider you, as we don't even filter those CVs. And every time we have got a referral or a candidate approaching us for that particular company, I have personally called the founder and told them कि भाई तुम्हारे इस बंदे ने मुझे approach किया है. This has happened to us once, where one resource from a partner company, I wouldn't say it a competitor, direct competitor, but a partner company approached us and joined us. We thought that he has left, but he hasn't left. He hadn't left then. But once I discovered, I made sure that the resource does not stay in company. I asked him to maybe look for other opportunities. And I also called and informed the founder of the partner company that this resource has joined us. And he's no more a part of the company, and he left almost a month ago. We had a discussion with this. Regarding this, taking the resources ahead with you, you cannot go ahead. Those founders who only move ahead without caring about their resources normally don't end up very long they don't normally compete in the long-term race, because your company culture will be built by the founder's office through these resources, who will also take this culture further ahead. If you leave your resources behind and go in the race alone, what kind of culture will you set? And we have seen examples recently. We know the examples. We don't need to name anybody. We have seen examples.
Your founding team is still with you?
Yes. Our entire team, which was there from first day, except for those who had to complete their education, are with us. One resource we had to let go personally, which was from the founding days, from the early days. Now, we won't say founding days. The founding team is with us. Arjun has left because he had to look for his. He had to complete his education, and it was unethical for us to stop him. But the other founding team has been with us.
So we have talked about the finances and investment a lot, right? Other than that, name the top 3 sacrifices which you had to make during this journey.
I don't give enough time to my son. I'm not able to give enough time to my son. He deserves more time. Kartav, his name is Kartav, he's just turned 3. I think he deserves more of my time. My wife deserves more of my time, which I'm not able to get to or devote. So that is one sacrifice that I'm making. And as a parent, it kills you from inside. As a husband, as a family person, it kills you from inside that you're not able to give enough time to your family. The second sacrifice that I made is on a great lifestyle. There are things that I could afford earlier while I was in service that I have to think 10 times before affording now. So yeah, so I'll be very true. Even when you go and buy clothes, then you have to wait for those times when they are on sale. Right. Back in those days, I barely ever saw the price tag because we knew that money had to come on 1st or 30th of every month and the last day of every month. So this security was there. So the second biggest sacrifice that I made is on a very great lifestyle. I'm technically making more money now, but I'm not making money every month. So this insecurity is still there. On salary front, officially मेरी salary मेरी जो पहले ड्रॉ करा उससे ज़्यादा है, काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. But salary आएगी कि नहीं ये confirm नहीं है. So you have to make these sacrifices. The third biggest sacrifice that I think I should mention it or not. The sacrifice that I made is on a great career. I was due for my promotion just almost an year when I left my service. And almost entire India dreams of the job that I was in. True. And I've seen the cream of this country, the cream students of this country competing to get that job. My mom said कि तुम्हें आसानी से मिल गया ना, इसलिए तुम छोड़ रहे हो. उन्हें नहीं पता कि उसके लिए मतलब I cannot show it to her what kind of hard work I had to do for being there, for reaching that particular place. So I have compromised on a great career and choose the path which was not that easy. So तीन चीज़ें यही हैं मेरे लिए. There are other sacrifices also, but they are majorly lifestyle based or monetary. So the lifestyle based covers most of those. हाँ. I sold my dream car that I had, जो मैं गाड़ी दिल्ली लेकर आया था जिसमें वो भी sold करनी पड़ी क्योंकि उसका maintenance afford नहीं कर पा रहे थे सर्विस छोड़ने के बाद.
That was the actual point where you started
this
whole journey.
तो जिस कार से मेरी जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई ब्लिप की, तो उस गाड़ी को ही मुझे बाद में सेल करना पड़ा उसमें because I was not able to bear the maintenance of that car.
So, what's the next big broken piece of Indian mobility that you want to fix with BLYP?
जो next target in the long-term perspective plan is bringing driver on demand. The problems that we have identified are very natural problems. Like you go to a pub, you get drunk, then you don't have a driver to drop your place. Since we are already present in majority of places, we have our drivers already in our payroll. The next introduction that we are introducing is driver on demand, which also gives you drivers for monthly basis. You want a permanent driver, we'll give you a permanent driver. Also, you need it for one trip, we'll give you one trip to and fro as and when you need. We are already working on it. It's already now available on the app. The feature should be live in around 3 weeks or 4 weeks from now. So that's one big problem that we see that we have. It's a natural problem that everybody faces. I personally face. I don't drink, but many times my wife has to travel for a long distance. And that time, if she will be driving, or sometimes that happens in myself, I'll have to get a driver because if I'm traveling from Noida to Gurgaon, my 2 hours of time, my time is precious at this point of time. I cannot invest these 2 hours in driving alone. And most of the times while I'm driving, I'm on calls only. I could be way more efficient if I have a driver for that particular trip. I don't want a monthly driver, but I need a person to drive me from place A to place B for that moment. So we see there's a big gap there. And there are very limited players in the market, and there are businesses who are built only and only upon this. So we have a validation in the market. Somebody has already done this and proven themselves in this niche market. I think we can do it way better. We already have the people in place. We have the network already. We have a network of more than 2,000 drivers in place, and we can fetch more. So that's the biggest hurdle that we see now that we want to target. Obviously, there are many other hurdles, but this is the hurdle that we want to address next for us.
And do you think that, so for example, if you're saying that the next hurdle could be the driver thing, right? So you want to get on-demand drivers. Do you think, what is your vision towards it? That how is it going to work? Like, are you going to give something that is budget friendly, because there are companies who are giving drivers on demand, but they cost a lot for like a lot of people who, like women also, women who travel for like from work back and forth, or just to trip outside, or outstation or elsewhere. So do you think you can offer budget friendly? Do you think you can offer something which is for the people, and like literally for the people, because that's how blip is supposed to be, right? So that's how that is what blip is trying to solve in the market. So what exactly is that you think can work really?
Okay, we sincerely think that our prices is not the driver here. Though we have an impetus on making sure that the prices are lesser than others. It should not be profit only, but it should be profitable. It must be profitable. It shouldn't be, मतलब जो existing players हैं, the prices will be way lesser than them. It will still be profitable. First thing. Second thing is, we have got female drivers. Not everybody is comfortable in driving with certain males of certain age or certain appearance. It can happen. Our customers drive our motivation. We can go on paper and do it, but no. So we'll have an option of female drivers. We'll have an age group from which you'll be able to choose your driver. We'll have everything that can customize a choice of drivers. So somebody who has experience in automatic cars, who has driven a Ferrari before. So we already have drivers who have driven from a Wagon-R to a Ferrari. So we train our drivers accordingly. Plus background verification is absolutely necessary. So real-time tracking and all that will all be there. So our idea is to make it as secure, as convenient and customer friendly as possible. That's our idea. While keeping the prices, the option of prices obviously lesser than the competitor that we have in place.
Yeah, because I think it's very important in an area like, let's say, Delhi NCR, and wherein you have Uber drivers, we've got Ola drivers, we've got like other XYZ drivers, but the safety and security, it is a big factor when it comes to women actually using cabs for driving. They want to just again, back and forth from work, from elsewhere, from shopping. But then, sometimes the cars are not well tied, the cars are not there. Even if you hire a driver, sometimes, it feels very fishy, it feels very risky, to
Unsafe.
drive, unsafe to drive with a unknown person, who's just going to drive you like in the night from a club to your home. So, I'm sure Blip can solve that, and I'm sure Blip is going to do that like in future, because I, as a woman, like if I have to take like if I have to take my car and ask another driver to drive it who I don't know about, right? So I would like definitely need some assurity in terms of who's going to drive me, where is this person coming from, is he or is she well maintained to sit in a drive in a car wherein I won't have any problem or issues, or where is she going to take me, what is the background. I think I would love to know more about her or him, or like who is that person.
Feedback taken. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to my target audience. Feedback taken. So we have something in place already in our app. The feature is not out live for general public. We are doing our trials right now. But yeah, what I've learned from this discussion is, first, let's say you have taken a driver, you liked it. We should give you an option of getting the same driver again.
Exactly, that's how Urban Company does, right? So they ask you to, they give you the same person if you want it.
So giving you the same person next time, this is a good learning. We have to incorporate in our app. We will make sure that we incorporate in our app. And also the messaging has to be around safety and security.
Exactly.
So you should be able to see what kind of, how he looks, how he or she looks. You'll be able to choose between a male or a female. Let's say how they dress cleanly. So I think the messaging has to be clear and has to be very, very clear. So yeah, thanks for the learning.
Yeah, and like I also want to point out one thing, that there was, let's say, like so I wanted to point out one thing also, that there was a cab service. They used to have a lot of they had people with uniforms in of course it didn't work out. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. So of course it didn't work out, but it had solved a big problem in the market of how the cabs are maintained, of how the cleanliness is maintained, how the drivers are. You knew who were the drivers, right? So it was like and slowly I think the trust started building up with with that company, with that brand overall, that like in a blink of an eye you were like, okay, I have to book this. Exactly, पैसा देखना ही नहीं है. Exactly,
Brand image is
exactly,
like
कि वो
that.
रेंटल करना है कि कहीं जाना है, तो वो पता था कि हाँ ये करना ही है, मतलब ये इससे कर लेते हैं. So like what is your vision and how many years are you thinking कि इतना टाइम, like इतने months है, इतना टाइम मुझे लग जाएगा, like ब्लिप के लिए फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कि ब्लिप वहाँ उस लेवल तक पहुँच सके जहाँ पे लोगों का ट्रस्ट बिल्ड होने लग जाएगा, एंड क्या परसेंटेज पे, क्या कितने women might use, कितने men might use that.
That those numbers are extremely confidential. But फिर भी, just to answer your question, for the first year from now, as we speak, we are not going to concentrate on any other geography. We are going to focus and consolidate it only and only on Delhi NCR. We see that it's a very big market in itself. Like the example that you are giving, they have taken more than a year, way more than a year, in just building the trust. So we have some proven track records. But in our case, there's no cab.
Yeah.
There's a person.
Yeah.
Building trust on a person is way easier than a cab service.
Yeah.
So the experience that we deliver on the first go has to be meticulously right. It cannot go wrong. We cannot go wrong. So far at this scale, we have been building on that scale. And we have some plans for a larger scale on what we're going to do once the company scales from a level below. But I'll tell you, the number that we're estimating per month should be more than 36,000. The day we got 36,000 orders per day, sorry, not per month, per month, we more than 36,000 orders per month. That is where the scale will be, where we will have to activate the plan B. We are still yet to reach there. We are at around 12,000, 13,000 orders right now. उस जगह पे बैठे हम लोग सिर्फ दिल्ली एनसीआर में. The moment we'll cross 36,000, the second stage will begin for scaling up and for training and operations. We have something in place. We are anticipating at least 1 year in that to happen. 36,000 order नहीं, वो तो हम लोग अभी 2 महीने 3 महीने बाद ही सोच रहे हैं, because January we will go live with our marketing thing, everything like. But that the same trust that you are talking about, like the word spreads.
Yeah.
And the example that you gave, a beautiful example, beautiful experience. Though I have faced some bad experience with them also, but they were very few. I didn't care about the cost. Regardless, I didn't care कि उनकी बुकिंग के लिए मुझे 4 घंटा पहले करना पड़ रहा है, because the services were not readily available in Noida. So even if I'm traveling to, let's say, an airport, I had to book them a few hours in advance, and that is inconvenient. Despite of the higher prices.
But they also had a recurring thing which was like, okay, ये पता था कि हाँ ये हो
Only in
जाएगा.
Gurgaon, but it was not available in Noida at that time. So irrespective of that, so technically from a consumer perspective, the biggest inconvenience was there. Inconveniences was there, which was way more convenient on other apps. But I still chose that app because the trust was built. So that trust is like glass. Once it's broken, it can never be fixed.
Can never be. Yeah, exactly. Because I sometimes I hire drivers. Sometimes it's very difficult for me to hire a driver. It's like, I can't do it. It's like I would rather just call someone I know to come and drive me back, or someone I know to just come and pick me up and drop me home. Or I would rather not hire a driver, for like in the later half of the evening, or things like that, in a area like that.
So I'll have to ask you. So it's a reverse podcast now. So if I look at from this perspective, what would you consider before hiring a driver, or what would make you comfortable enough to hire a driver? Suppose you don't know the driver. It's the first time using a service. So what would be your suggestion as a customer to incorporate to get a driver on demand for a female like you?
So I would, first of all, if I know that a male driver is coming, right? So for example, if I don't have an option for a female driver, which other apps or other companies do not give you that option, right? So for me, hiring a male driver would be, kahan se aa raha hai ye? कौन है ये, and you know like is he safe enough to take me, like you know if
How would you know that he is safe enough? You know the background checks.
you know, so I would first
Just help me out.
Top 3 parameters.
so I would
To a customer,
Yeah.
to a customer, you have to help me understand it a little deeper.
Yeah. So for me, I would actually, first of all, because let's say that I've booked that app, right? I've booked a driver on my app. I would see his rating first. I would see what people have rated him first. Second of all, I'll you know like there's a big thing in the market saying that you know who is the person coming. I would read his name. I would see कौन है ये, photographs, the picture. If that picture is quite scary to me, I would rather cancel that you know thing, because रात को travel करना is different. दिन में होता मैं कर लेती, दिन में होता तो हाँ चलो ठीक है कुछ देर की बात है मैं निकल जाती हूँ, but रात को कहाँ से कहाँ travel कर रही हूँ, what is the distance that I have to cover from you know this from point A to point B, उसके लिए is this driver fine or not? So I would think about that. I've cancelled a lot of drivers. I've cancelled a lot of trips just saying कि अच्छा वो कौन सा इंसान आ रहा है मुझे लेना है, because it's you know our security, our things are in our own hands.
It's your life. One bad moment can actually ruin your life. I understand. Totally get it. I have a wife. I also get scared about this.
So you know मेरे लिए so I always check who's the person coming, right? So and for me, if I'm sitting with a driver in a car, like in my own car also, I usually have this thing that I have a small communication with that person कि अच्छा भैया कहाँ से हो आप, क्या करते हो, and you know things like that. But I would really appreciate कि अगर मुझे पहले से उसके बारे में पता हो, you know, if I have a small brief about him कि वो कहाँ से है, who's that person who's coming.
To show you what we do, because actually we have addressed most of it. Now I would say that all of it, but most of it.
Yeah. So you know like
You will be able to see their photograph. You will be see their rating. You will be see what are their hobbies, where are they coming from.
Yeah.
All of these things
Like,
you will be
you know,
able to. You will in fact
exactly,
what we are implementing recently is you will be able to check their background check report also.
yeah,
that
that's
we are
very
incorporating.
important.
So we have to just somehow parlay between the privacy, and it should not be as invasive where with the private information of the driver goes down.
Yeah.
We are figuring it out, but we are going to in the next version we are coming out with this where you will be able to check the background check police report of the drivers also.
Yeah.
So that's what we have actually incorporated already. We are still figuring out उसमें क्या कितना part हमें छुपाना है कितना नहीं छुपाना. As and when required, we can present to you on special requests.
Yeah.
How much drivers would be infringed without infringing the privacy of the drivers. So because driver community, they are a big community.
They're big community, and you know
कितने self-driving गाड़ी
exactly.
बन जाए, at the end you would be needing a man behind the
wheel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even in self-driven cars, there's always a driver.
Yeah.
That's a regulation by some state of US. I'm forgetting the names, but they are a very big community, and they need more support from people like you and us.
Yeah.
While making sure that your safeties and women like you, not just women, men, kids,
Everyone. Yeah. Even elders. Yeah. Anyone.
pets, even their
exactly.
security is not
Exactly.
actually. Nobody poses a threat on their security.
Yeah. Yeah.
But thank you for that feedback.
Yeah.
I have figured out a way why, after speaking with you, what is the solution to this. Thank you, Sahil, for having me here.
That's the new idea coming up. New
But
version.
these are real world problems.
These are
Correct,
real world
correct.
problems.
क्या है ना, मैक्सिमम स्टार्टअप को बनना होता है कि नॉट स्टार्टअप, सभी मैक्सिमम लोग इसी में कर रहे हैं कि ये भी कर लूँ वो भी कर लूँ सब बन जाऊँ. बट एक्चुअल रियल लाइफ प्रॉब्लम्स आर, people would say, the investors, the most VCs would say बड़ी niche problem है. But like in this problem, there's a proven track record of companies who have done well.
Yeah.
Not just in India but around the world.
I was like of that company. I was a blind trust person. I was हाँ book करने कर देती हूँ. You know, I used to book for all my family. अच्छे से जाने ठीक है book कर देती हूँ. You know, it was exactly. So it was, I want to build that trust with someone, like with a brand, like you know, if BLYP is coming up with this, I would love to do that with BLYP. So I want to trust. I want some company to gain my trust again. You know, like because I want कि कोई तो हो जो मुझे लेके जा सके safely, without any hassle, without any problems or anything, right? Because crime, like you know the crime rate of India, you know the crime rate of Delhi.
I understand. Even the fear, the look, I'll tell you about, I won't say the name of the city because the administration might mind this time. But I visited a city very nearby Delhi. And while coming there from night, even the residents of that city would tell us, यार रात को पहुंच जाओ तुम यार दिल्ली. दो मतलब वो कुछ ही 100 किलोमीटर भी नहीं है. Residents of that city were saying, yeah, it's not safe, you shouldn't go. Though, and I'll tell you that I keep arms also with me, and being trained, and sometimes my wife and my son would be there because we travel to that city a lot. And I was thinking, yeah, this state is one of the safest states. Why would the residents think that this travel is not safe? That particular part you're crossing, that's not safe at night. And there are cases, something they mentioned certain cases. The perception of threat in itself is a very big driver of consumer habit. Be it a cab, be it a driver, because it's a tangible service that you're taking. We are not like a just intangible service. It's not like that you're checking your CIBIL score. No, it's not like that.
You're putting your safety in someone's hands.
Your life will be in your high value asset will be in somebody else's hand. Their mistake, they are drunk, they are maybe having some pan masala, and the smell is going in your car.
Exactly. They had a smoke or something. It is just
The car is
unbearable.
smelling bad because of
Unbearable.
just one person. So these are things that I think we should be taking care of. Thanks for the learnings.
You're welcome. So one lesson you think कि ये अगर मैं शुरू नहीं होता, like अगर मैं blip शुरू नहीं करता तो मैं क्या करता?
मैं कमांडेंट होता इस समय. I would be a commandant ranking officer. So that's what I would have been. Yeah.
I think it's the same question which we earlier discussed on the in the context of what other idea or other pain point.
I can give
right,
I can
in an
give
individual you thought.
two big problems that I've observed, and I urge to others to make a startup around it.
Great.
New founders can look into it.
More ideas coming in.
No, but that is what I have observed as a founder, as a resident of NCR, where I see a big scale, monetizable, can be a little operational heavy, but if it can be solved by efficient operational people, and these two ideas can be done. So we have seen a big challenge that I have seen is on public services. You have to get your gas connection. There's a dalal, there's a middleman. It happened with me recently that I had to apply for a new new driver's license. So one person called me, sir, 15,000 रुपये लगेगा. So I saw then somehow the number got leaked कि मैंने Google पे search करा था driving license online India, New Uttar Pradesh, Noida, and I started getting calls left, right, center from all these middlemen. And everybody was charging the standard rate, 14,000, 15,000, 14,500 and 15,000. So as a regular person who drives a car, because that was a new driver license that I was getting made for somebody, मेरा बहुत पहले बना हुआ था, तो I thought कि driver license must be costing you this much. Then I went to an RTO, took the pain of driving to the hometown with that person, drove to RTO. Guesses how much money it costed me. It did cost me some time because I had to carry documents, I had to take up a list, I had to take two trips to my home to get the documents printed and all that, photograph खिंचवाना पड़ा, time लगा. Public services is problematic. It is problematic. Even in Delhi, it is problematic. वो whole doorstep delivery is bullshit. सबको परेशानी है, and nobody likes it.
It's getting better, but still not there.
Better, but problem क्या है? The access to that service is not very bad. It's not very good. There are a lot of middlemen still there. What if you form a startup? Let's say you people or I am a regular customer. If somebody is offering me to get my driver's, because I got the driver license for hardly peanuts, not even 1,000 rupee, way less than even 1,000 rupee. I wouldn't say way less than even 500 rupees, way less than 100 rupees in fact. इतने में driver license बन गया था approximate, if I'm not wrong, if I remember it right. थोड़ा सा painful रहा, but middleman जो था ना, why should I be, and there are people who are ready to pay them 15,000, 10,000 rupees to these middlemen for getting that DL का renewal or passport का renewal, and there are always some middlemen. If an app can offer me, it can be a government app also, I don't mind. If there's one app through which I apply, we get an appointment, we go that day, and that particular appointment, I get this thing done. There's nothing better. Just like we have in passports. But even in passport these days, there are middlemen. मुझे US का वीज़ा चाहिए, उसके लिए वीज़ा की गारंटी देने के लिए मिडलमैन बैठे हैं आज के रेट में. I don't know how real they are, and they're charging a good premium over the conventional rates. So all these government related services, public services, when I'm talking about being a gas का connection, अगर आपकी सोसाइटी में रहते हो, आपकी सोसाइटी में ड्राइव है तो आप गैस कनेक्शन ले लोगे. But if you have to get a new cylinder connection, it's a tedious task, and it's common in almost every state. If I can, as a startup founder, bring in all onto one platform, and you can ease this journey, even by getting the appointment sorted out. And I believe the government is more than ready to link its APIs to our, like we have recently looking forward to integration with Vahan. So government is more than willing. So in service, we had a saying, किसी भी काम को सकारात्मक सुचारू तरीके से चलने के लिए दो चीजें होनी जरूरी हैं, नीति और नियत. That means policy with intention. Luckily, the current government has policies as well as intention in place. And we as a startup community must be looking at this because it's a big problem. Either we bring all the middlemen onto one platform, charge some money, charge some and bring it on into that particular place, because middlemen won't have other choice then. But to go through these apps, like we have done with cab services. Cab services used to charge premium. अरे auto rickshaw वाले, I have paid 2 kilometers के लिए 400 रुपए in a state somewhere else. Airport, मतलब railway station से लेके 2 किलोमीटर दूर का 400 रुपए, because I had no idea back in 2014 when I was still serving. तब बता रहा हूँ मैं. आज के डेट में नहीं पॉसिबल है. They had to budge as per the public demand. So somebody comes out who eases the public service sector. I think this is a very good app in place. Another service is something related to home services. I see a lot of plants here. Some of them might be true. Most people want real plants, right? And I believe these are also real plants only. Real plants. But how many plants do you have at home that you are able to take care of? If you had somebody who charges you, let's say 1,000 rupees a month, takes care of all your plants, हफ्ते में एक दिन आएगा, वो केमिकल डाल के चला जाएगा, he is background verified, he is the same guy who comes to your house, has wearing our uniform. If somebody can bring it all on one platform, where you pay a premium, let's say 1,000 rupees.
Like
And
subscription
subscription of 1,000 rupees for per month, where he or she takes care of all the plants in your, and the subscription rates can differ as per the number of plants that you might be having. हफ्ते में एक विजिट होगा, महीने में 4 विजिट होंगे, आपके पास आपके प्लांट्स को एकदम बढ़िया चला के रखेगा, हेल्दी रखेगा. You don't have to pay anything or you to do anything with the plants. And then you have an app in place in which you can see कि app की मेरे plant के साथ क्या क्या हुआ था, इसका फायदा क्या है. And with all the pollution that is around us, we have plants in our office and we have seen कि वो कितने रिलाय होते हैं. सबके घर में plants हैं जो मरते हैं, उसको solution का हम नए plants लेके आते हैं. Is that worth it? No. We end up paying more than 1,000 rupees per month if we are, and especially if you are in NCR or in a city like Mumbai. Everybody wants plants क्योंकि सब concrete jungle है. And plants, something that everybody loves. So if somebody can offer this kind of service, I see a big business there. So there is a Snapit, there is a urban company, there is a Pronto, but there is nobody for taking care of your arboriculture or your plants or your.
I would be the first person.
You would be I would be the first person. मैं तो 2,000 रुपए भी दूंगा भाई. मेरे ऑफिस के प्लांट्स मेंटेन होते रहे, वो उसमें किसी में कुछ, अभी लास्ट मेरे ऑफिस में सारे प्लांट चेंज हुए थे, और बिकॉज दे आर इंडो प्लांट्स तो पानी अगर आपने एक दिन दिया तो अगले दिन मर जाते हो. दिस इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम. एंड वी ऑल लव टू क्लिक फोटोग्राफ्स नियर बाय द प्लांट्स विद द प्लांट्स बैकग्राउंड. सबको ऑफिस में अच्छा लगता है कि अच्छा माहौल रहता है. नेचर इज ब्यूटीफुल, प्लस पॉल्यूशन अराउंड अस. प्लांट्स इज द आर ऑफ द इज द नीड ऑफ द आर. और आपको इसके लिए, मेरे को लगता है ऑपरेशनली मेरे दिमाग में तो एक बना हुआ है कि इफ आई वाज लेट्स से नॉट अ फ्रॉम सर्विसेज एंड आई वाज डूइंग अनदर स्टार्टअप, सो दिस आइडिया हैज कॉट अप. आई हैव थॉट ओवर इट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स. So this so easy in the age of AI to design an app where I click a photograph of a plant and it tells you कि plant में क्या problem है, because there are startups in place who are doing this, clicking a photograph and then they can tell you that it's a fungal problem. And what's the solution to that? You don't need to have trained gardeners also. Why not get these school boys, college boys who wants to, or college girls, college going students who want to earn some extra money
By
or
watering your plants, helping
by
out.
by the app. You give them the app. They don't have to learn gardening. Just follow the steps given on the app, and give them a bag with the Gamaxine powder and all the fertilizers in place, a little bit of urea, a little bit of some chemical, a little bit of Gamaxine powder, anything that they get to know on their app. So there is no dedicated cost on training the gardeners. Extra money for the gardeners, bring it on one platform, charge a premium, charge a monthly subscription. I'm telling you, people will take it. And I'm telling you, just to lift it off, you don't need special investment also. There might be an investment in forming the app. Think about just hiring 10 people, going into a township which has got 10 towers, leave these flyers, approach the RWs. क्या gardeners नहीं है कहीं. और gardener बुलाना उससे बड़ा problem आज की डेट में. And in my house I've got 2 gardens. उनमें एक properly managed और एक में बस कट जाता है वो, चाहे महीने में एक बार आके काट जाता है. And he's charging me more than 4,000 rupees a month. ऑफिस में भी हम लोगों को जो है वो प्लांट्स मर जाते हैं, फिर मैं अपनी HR को पकड़ता हूँ, क्या हाल है इसका. Then HR says, sir, we'll solve it. वो क्या सॉल्यूशन करते हैं, वो नए प्लांट्स ले आती है, burn more money. Only the gamla remains the same, the vase remains the same, the plant changes. So that's a realistic problem. I think there are 2 ideas that I've already given with the solution, with the app.
To new founders.
Pilot, traction, सब बता के गया हूँ. If somebody of you can do it, I'll be happy to guide you on that. I have thought over the second idea a lot.
You can be the mentor for that.
I'll be happy to. And there are apps which have built these platforms where you can find out the health of the crop. You can tell you what is the solution. The agri में इतने बनो, but
Maintenance के लिए.
big builder than Snapit or Pronto because there's a big opportunity. सबको plant चाहिए सब घर में. आप एक सोसाइटी में 100 अगर घर ही पकड़ते हो, you have a lakh rupees of revenue, more than that actually.
And finally, what is what is that one line that you would tell founders and investors of it, like, any advice that you would love to give them? Like just one line, closing, just a closing line for all the founders and investors that you have.
It cannot be same line for founders and investors. Founders will have a different line than investors.
So let's have the closing line around the founders.
Yeah.
What would you like to, share from your journey? If you would like to give them the right direction, the founders which are just beginning their journey now, right? What would you like to tell?
So it's the same thing that I always tell. It's like my personal policy. When you take any sort of decision, especially let's say changing career or switching from a fixed career to a startup, be smart in checking your finances unless you don't have the financial backing to be able to do the work without making even a single penny and the money can pay your bills. Unless you don't have this much of finances, you don't have this much of financial safety, don't do it. Only fools take risks. Smart people take calculated risk. Calculate and then do, else don't do. Investors also have something. Please send a feedback if you have to say no. Great. I believe the founders deserve this much.
Yeah. Great. So with that, we'll close the we'll close the episode here. And thank you so much, Dhananjay, for coming to HOH.
Thank you for the insights. Thank you for having me here, Sahil.
We've learned a lot about parking. We've learned a lot about what's coming next. And thank you for the feedbacks and the feedback that I gave.
I thank you for that, both of you. Right.
Great. Thank you
Thanks
so
a
much
lot.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.